Live tonight on American Zombie. Like say what's up, Saturday night, January 10th, 10 days into the new year, 2026. Taking a deeper look at They Live, the movie They Live. A lot of people voted that as one of the top movies to wake people up. And it definitely is a headbanger. They Live has a lot of references to reality with different angles, like mirroring the critique of unchecked capitalism, media manipulation for sure. I mean, the fact that the television stations were run by people in disguise and then also people that weren't in disguise. So we had two different types. We had people in disguise that were aliens that knew what they were doing for the agenda in the movie They Live, and then those that weren't aliens. Black Circle, my brother, Agent MD. Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. Yeah, you know, I tell you, man. Hope everything goes all right with so many people have been, how do I put it, like affected by the machine. With I look at it as we grow, and hopefully they'll do their own thing, and maybe people start channels and give something back to the people. I mean, putting in time and effort and doing shows is a lot. Um, a lot of these guys, they're always welcome to come over. Some of them. I mean, there are some people where it's like, it's all about what you bring to the conversation. Does it make it better? It's not really a therapy session. It's more like a conversation, healing conversations. Good conversations make us feel better, especially when they're about things we can see are relevant, things that we say, oh, this conversation, I saw how it benefited myself, my life. This was a conversation that was extremely productive instead of the bread and circuses that we see most people talking about, just basic stuff, saying, hey, yeah, I've taken the ads off the live programs. After it's live, they'll be on, but I figure for easier viewing and respect to the community, if somebody's watching it live, they should be able to watch without seeing an ad. I mean, that makes sense to me, unless YouTube is doing it, but it should be ad free for the live stream. But when I look at They Live and the movie similarities to real life, we see the economic inequality. I mean, that was something that they really touched upon in the movie. And the hidden rulers. The hidden rulers was a big one. I mean, they had other movies that were similar to They Live, that once they took over the certain key positions, they could force everybody else to follow an order against their common sense, which would allow the entity or the alien or whatever it is in the movie to infect the majority of the people. We saw this with the puppet masters, Donald Sutherland, a few other people, the puppet masters. I think it assimilated somebody in the army. I don't know if it was a general, and it had the implant onto your back. So if you had no shirt on, you could see the it was kind of like a stingray, the size of a stingray embedded on the back of a person that put this cord into the spine to control them. So you could easily see if a person had a shirt off, you could see it. So anybody with a shirt on would be suspicious. And there was a point where he asked him to take his shirt off, and he at first he tried to refuse, and then he was like, okay. And then they made it seem like the signal went out. So it's like, oh, I was gonna do it, but hey, the signal went out. So little things like that. those things in society, when you say, okay, you know what? You say, I can ask people questions like that, like the fact that he didn't want to reveal right away to prove brings up a red flag. It brings up a red flag to say, hey, wait a second, why aren't you just saying, okay, look, here, let me take my shirt off. No parasite, whatever. No, the only when you think about the delay says a lot. So again, what somebody says is part of the message. What they don't say is another part. How they say it, how they don't say it. So it's not just the fact that they don't say something, is in the way they don't say it. So it could be a deflection by saying something so they don't say it, or just not saying it at all. The psychology that people cannot or will not learn at a university can only be really absorbed through observation, reflection. The experience, the reflection on the experience is very important. And to build with other people in an honest, natural way, people that don't want to manipulate you, because when you think about it, a lot of philosophy, the classes itself are based on manipulation. They teach people techniques and how to speak with somebody and get certain answers out of them without even knowing that you asked the question. You can ask other questions to get an answer about something you don't even have to mention. And also the in between, feelings that people have, like the micro expressions they call it, or sometimes they have like different names for that stuff. But that's very important to pick up on this, even when we're looking at the politician thing. Like right now, the reason I said they live a deeper look is because the politician thing, the zombie politician, political zombie, are so, like, it is, if you look through society, anybody who can still think for themselves can see how politics is just, it has created something in the mind of so many people where it's almost driven them to the brink of what appears to be madness. It's like a type of madness, it seems like, in my opinion, to say, wow, this is crazy. This is really crazy to think about that. Like, wow, man, you know, the the behavior that it installs in people, the behavior, it just really makes me makes me wonder, man, like how many people can you really trust? And as we see, as we see there's been people, it's not, I think it's not the fact of the somebody lying to you as much as it is when you realize that you weren't worth the truth. That's the hard thing. And everybody has, again, like they say in the old sayings, there's a face that you show the world, a face you show your friends, and one that you show to no one. And that's everybody's own private, personal relationship with with what is. Everybody's going into the next somehow, somewhere. Where it is, how it is, we don't know. We really don't know. Makes me wonder that why so many people don't want to talk about this next thing that's supposed to be happening, or really is happening. It's not that it's supposed to. It happens to everyone that we know of or ever have, unless it happens to us first. So that's like a serious thought that is not really looked into. Yeah, it's not really looked into, man. I think about that like every day, really, because there's not many people that look into that. There's not too many. I saw Jake left a comment earlier. I was looking at it. Calix, good to see you, brother. Cheers. Always a pleasure, man. Yeah, yeah. The Jake was saying, he was looking through all the stuff. I mean, it was a hilarious stream a couple of streams ago. It was kind of crazy when I think about it. It's things happen, you know. It's how we take it though. Well, we're gonna take it into uh, a realism? Are we gonna be honest with it, or is it gonna be fantasy island? So that says a lot too. How people take the message. And we see this where they live. When the guy didn't want to put on the glasses, he told him, he said, look, he's not putting them on. He goes, look, you either put this on. And of course, that went into the so-called longest fight scene in, I guess, Hollywood history that was filmed. But when you think about that, just think of like in between the lines, the longest fight scene. And what's the fight scene about? Is it about two people just being angry with each other? No, no, has nothing to do with a normal fight scene. Somebody defending them against themselves against something, somebody being attacked just for no reason, anger, jealousy, rage. That wasn't really there. It was much. The bottom line was, I care about you, and you need to look through these glasses. And if you don't, I gotta make you look through them. And that was the longest fight scene in so-called Hollywood history, forcing somebody to see the truth. So forcing someone to see the truth makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder, man. Forcing people to see the truth would be the longest fight scene. And then again, in that movie, like in The Matrix, what was the distraction? The lady with the red dress. In They Live, it was I don't know if her name was Meg Tyler or something. She's a woman with very, very light eyes. They're like a type of albinism. Um, yeah, forgot her name, Meg Tyler maybe. But she had, he took her hostage to get away from the first encounter he had with the aliens, and They Live. And eventually she hit him over the head with the bottle when he was at her place. And then she also sold out the whole the people that were fighting the resistance against them, the people that made the glasses, that realized, if you look, and that's another thing with They Live, that there wasn't any backstory that I found of the glasses thing, because I forgot the name of the book that it comes from. Something o'clock in the morning or something like that. Yeah. Eli, what's up, man? Yeah, it's a long road, man. It's a long road, bro. It really is. Just think about it like man, very long road. I think about all the people, all the different stuff. It's just crazy, man. It really is. Agent Smiths everywhere. It's like, who knows? Agent Smiths, but the humans and They Live, they were like Cypher. The guy in the tux who in the earlier part of the movie, he was nobody, and then he sold out to the aliens and became one of them. All of the leaders, when he even said it in the thing, trying to kind of say, like we already know, things that you can't say seriously, you can say them in jest or in unseriousness. Even sometimes, even then, you can't say them. When he says, there's no more countries. And that's crazy, because I think that was way before Ike ever wrote about anything like that. There's no more countries. That just, yeah, makes you wonder, man. Alexis, good to see you, brother. He says Agent Smith told us the hard black pill truth decades ago. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Agent Smith, that movie, you had brought that to light. Agent Smith is the most black pill character. I mean, that the stuff, the lines that they basically have him talking about in the Matrix, it does supersede. Like, I mean, there's very little bit. I mean, there's definitely lines in movies. Like, They Live has a few. They Live definitely. They Live actually has a lot more visual cues, like with the subliminal messages hidden behind just basic stuff, like with the magazine rack, thought control. Basically, don't think, go back to sleep. When he looks at the computer ad on the building, the vacation ad, it says marry and reproduce. So you wonder. I mean, They Live has a lot of visual cues in it. A lot. I mean, to the point where that movie can be watched over and over and taking notes with it. Alexis says, "MD, what was the most brutal BP you learned?" The most brutal BP that I think I realized was it's kind of like, it's definitely an in between thing. I want to say first is the surveillance. So like when you realize every single thing is under surveillance, and it goes back a ways. Maybe not as intense of a surveillance as we see now, because if we have any device that we're communicating with people with, that's a super surveillance device right now. And I doubt, just because we're seeing them, that this is when they were developed. These things were probably around for decades at the least. So that was this major BP. The food, seeing how the food is, the processed food, that's a big one too. But it's such a it creeps over you like the blob. The food is something where we're so zombied on what we eat and drink that it's like a serious drug addiction. And it's a drug addiction to these unnatural foods that people eat, um, in denial of it being an addiction. So that was another one. When I woke up to that in the late 90s of what was going on with the food, it was messed up, but for some reason, that's one that we can always fall back to sleep on. It's crazy. Like, it really is crazy on that. But I think the surveillance, the constant state of surveillance, that's a brutal reality. When Agent Smith said, "They let you win," it was a hard lesson for me, because it shows us they allow us to do what we do. Yeah. hmm It really it if we don't have, like, it really starts to show me that if we don't have like some type of parameters, some code, some moral bearing, um that it's real easy to get to lose your way, and for others to be able to control you, kind of like what Alexis is saying, that the Agent Smith said, they let you in. They let you in. They allow us. They allow us. That's the crazy thing. They allow us. They show us, like, man, we think that we have, and like Smith had said in the other one, when somebody thinks that they're not being controlled, but they're being controlled, that's a serious level of, that's real control. Because if they know they're being controlled, they still have the understanding that they can disobey that control, that they're going along with the control, even though they know it's happening. But if you don't know it's happening, there's no resistance because you don't resistance against what? You don't even think you're being controlled. That is such a level of control that it's psychological. It's almost as if the Nazis allowed us to win. The British allowed us to win. Agent Smith was dropping truth bombs, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's the real thing. And even to like kind of fine tune the words, maybe beyond just allowing us to win is to because we didn't really win or to allow us to think, yeah, adding that in there, allowing us to think that we won. Actually, more than just allowing us, petting the ego, stroking the ego, and just saying, no, you won because you're great, because you're great and you're strong. You're so strong, you can beat a British army with pitchforks. Yes, that's how strong you are. Imagine if you had weapons, forget it. And we see most patriots buy into that today, all the way up until today. They're not even patriots. They're really called hatriots because a lot of the stuff that they believe in is based on it has an ideology of hate that that kind of cloaks itself from the believer. They think it's not hate. They think it's, oh no, it's pride or something. We already know, again, once they can get you gripped with those things, the pride, the lust and the greed, it easily has somebody, allows somebody to be taken control of. Very easy. It's like when they say, "Oh yeah, no, we won," and that is and then to see that scientists came over here to form the NASA thing after that, and these people were treated like basically like royalty coming over here for these space programs, and then other soldiers, American soldiers, Native Americans, Black American, Chinese, Latin American, many white American soldiers, a lot of soldiers, but mainly the soldiers that of color came back over here and basically was still second class citizens. It was hard. It's embarrassing when you look at that history. But the only way to grow out of that is to acknowledge it and say, hey, that is like some horrible behavior. We got to make sure we don't repeat that. And I think that's a smart way of looking at it instead of the way some race baiters will say, oh, well, look at what they did to these people. And, again, insinuating that somebody should be angry or hate somebody else. And it's like, no, 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 that's not the way. The way is saying, we don't want to repeat this. So we know it's wrong. We're not blaming anybody here for that because this happened before people were born. Yes, people do benefit from the system that's in place, but you can't blame somebody from that. That's like blaming somebody for being born whatever they're born. And we know that's not right. So it takes a lot of maturity to look at the situation that we're in. I mean, for somebody to even grasp that concept that America did not win the Revolutionary War, that it was just a smarter way to see part of the experiment, to see, okay, let's see how these people react if they think they're free, as opposed to the way people react that don't think they're free, like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and stuff like that. I mean, it was like with what happened with the plan, the demic that happened recently. Those countries were like very strict on their rules. I mean, it was actually scary to a point. When if people look back at what it was like, it's creepy what happened with that. Very creepy. I mean, it just. I'm gonna play this. I'm just gonna, as I grab my tea, I'm gonna play this clip again.
The zombie spectrum contains 8 main categories, all of which are meant to control the mind of someone who is unaware. Today, will focus on the seventh category, which is politics. Only those who can see through the illusion will notice how politicians transform while speaking to other zombies. But most of the time, they'll be able to contain it and regain their composure without losing support from their zombies. This type of behavior can be seen taking place on both sides. Whether it's red or blue, the zombie always slips out.
Ask not what America will do for you.
The population of voters don't care because they're just as zombified as the creature they worship that lurks behind the podium. Once it regains composure, it's business as usual, and the parade continues to drain the intelligence of anyone who believes them.
Which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve.
Then, the political zombies will search to infect others that still have the ability to think, but logic and reason will make them retreat. This forces them to break character and reveal themselves for what they really are. This type of behavior can be traced back in part to the fifth category in the zombie spectrum, school, where students are forced to sit and listen until they become zombified by the teacher. And if we interview the parents, one may realize that they themselves are zombies in disguise. They can play the role, but if you're a survivor who knows where to look, you'll begin to notice what's hiding just beneath the surface. They push their children to follow zombified teachers until that final day of graduation approaches.
I finally graduated.
The modern-day graduate becomes someone devoid of critical thought.
The people left in society, I mean, it gets brutal when you think about it. It's like roaming around like the last part. From the graduation to zombies of society. And if somebody has showed it, like shown some of this stuff, it can say, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't want to be a zombie. Like, because we see that they're just like, hey, just believe what they tell you.
Just believe what they tell you.
I mean, it's good to read books, but you have to question what you read. Very important, extremely important to question what you read. Yep. I tell you, man, Agent Smith was dropping it. He was dropping it to a point where it just, that, all his quotes needs to be reviewed, look into it. Even like with the They Live, like the visual with the glasses, man, that was the stuff. That was the part. Being able, again, you notice the glasses in that movie, the glasses in The Matrix, the glasses in Equilibrium. There is a symbolic meaning to that. I mean, when I look back at the propaganda, just the fact, and that's another thing with the World War II thing, all of the propaganda saying that we won, that's another big red flag to say, well, all right, one is, did we, none of us fought in that, so we didn't have really anything to do with it. Again, it goes back into that mentality of us taking a credit for something that we never had anything to do with. That's basically the pride of nationalism, which is, we see it's extremely detrimental. It's like, wait a minute, you didn't do nothing. Like Agent Smith's The Matrix comic, Volume 1. Even the comics were dropping truth about, really? Oh, wow. Unplug these people. And what do they have? No more sports, movies, TVs, nothing. They will miss us. They will turn on you. So please, Mr. Anderson, proceed in your task and you'll see I'm right. Wow. Wow. He is dropping reality like that. He is dropping it, man. Smith is the man. Smith. Wow. They're putting Smith in that position. I didn't know Smith was getting that deep. Wow, that is really, holy smokes. That is really, really deep, man. Yeah, they live it. Some of the stuff that I was going to go over was the apathy and the ignorance to show people to wake up to reality. Remember, he was trying to wake his friend up. Forget it. The willful ignorance about systemic problems that keep people subjugated. That was another part of They Live. They Live was touching things a little more closer to reality. So it didn't require us to, think about like going into the Matrix per se, like in that movie, but we are in a much more technological time than from when the They Live came out, which was I think it was around 87. So it was in latter part of the 80s. Phenomenal movie. I mean, it just the Matrix, of course, it had its special effects, which yeah, it went to the next level. Um, but yeah, the comics for that, I got to take a look at that. Agent Smith, the Matrix comics, Volume 1, man. Yeah, They Live. I think it came from They Live. The movie was made from. It was made from, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning. That's what it was. Because Make Room was made into Soylent Green. So that's what it was. 8 o'clock in the morning, which was adapted into an 80s comic book. So yeah, that's funny how they take some of these movies and then they'll blend it into something else. And it'll be like, oh, okay. You know. Yeah, I was thinking yesterday I might just start dropping videos on Friday, maybe even Saturday too, and just stream a few nights a week, maybe 3, 4 nights a week, maybe every other day, drop a video, stream, drop a video, stream, something like that. Lee Gunner says Agent Smith. Yeah, man, Agent Smith is turning out to be a more awakening character than even Morpheus, man. It's like some of the stuff he's saying is just brutal. It's like saying, "Hey, go ahead, try, wake them up." See, it's zombie apocalypse. It's like how I already see that it's dangerous to wake up. It's dangerous to help certain people. I've been seeing that. I got to really remember that lesson because we already see with agents that pop out. It's like, holy smokes. It really gets me worrying, man. Well, thinking really. Worrying ain't gonna help much. When I look at yeah, deep movie videos and shorts. Yeah, drop move it. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely gotta if I can get on that to where every day I can drop one, and then maybe I'll cut the stream into 3 days a week. That might be a little easier. 3 or 4 every other day. Some weeks will be 3, some weeks will be 4, but every day make sure a video and a short. Yeah, something like that. The least needs to be because yeah, streaming every day is. I mean, it's a tough one, but I'm happy to do it. It needs to be done. It's discipline. It's clearly discipline. It's just a matter of the editing of the book because that's a lot of the material with the human origins. We start to look at where do we come from? How did our physical form, how do we adapt on the planet? We look at all of these life forms on the planet and it's just ridiculous to think that is a chance that, oh, it's this fairy tale of going back to that. And even like Alexis was saying in the from the other day where Smith was dropping knowledge on that, like, look, there's no way we didn't evolve. This was we were created in a way like manufactured, constructed, engineered. And those words imply something beyond. So it implies the constructor, the engineers, the manufacturers. And it opens more questions, I've noticed, with human origin research in an honest direction. If you're honest, if a scientific researcher is going to follow the evidence where it may lead, it's going to open up doors that lead to things stranger than almost a Twilight Zone episode, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But yeah, man, it's about to hit midnight. I figure, yeah, I'll make it a short one tonight. Yesterday was a little long. I was going to end yesterday's at around 30 minutes. I figure at least that. But yeah, tonight maybe do that. And then, I'll see Knowledge Seeker of Truth says, my favorite Agent Smith quote is, these people need the system more than reality. They would rather live in a dream controlled by someone else than their own reality controlled by themselves. Wow, that's a deep quote, man. That's a deep Agent Smith quote. Holy smokes, man. Wow, if you got any others, please drop them. That is a good one, man. They would rather live in a dream controlled by someone else than their own reality controlled by themselves. And we see this with people. It's so brutal, because I had said years ago, why would anybody watch somebody else playing a video game? But I remember doing that back in arcade. You would peek over in between people over the shoulder, looking at the other person playing the game. And that's basically very close to what, this saying here. It's like people would rather say, hey, I'd rather watching something else. I mean, it's one point, you can watch it, but the real creative spirit or creative spark has the person saying, you know what, I want to create. A lot of people have seen things and that sparked them to do that in life, to say, yeah, I saw this movie or I saw this athlete and I knew right then and there, this is what I wanted to do. That is, it's a real deep thought to think about that in that way of what exactly is I mean, we're being orchestrated in a way. A lot of people, this is the crazy thing. A lot of people think they're thinking for themselves and they're not. And the fact that we can stand back and look at that and observe it and say, wow, this person would never, there's no way I can get through to him and say, look, man, what you're thinking about, what you're doing is not what you really want to do. You think it is, but it's all conditioning in ways that you don't even perceive it to act in the manner you do. Now, some people, they'll see that. They'll say, yeah, I got to act like this because, hey, it's their employment. So that person is more aware. That person knows, okay, look, you put the mask on, but don't lose touch with the person behind the mask. A lot of people, I mean, if you wear the mask long enough, it's very easy to lose touch with the person that was behind the mask. You take it off, you don't know how to take it off at that point. And that's really what they hope for, that people would wear these masks. And kids see it. Kids do see it. There's watching and then there's waiting to play. Yeah. Yep. Exactly, man. There are two sides to every coin, my side and my side, yet the humans believe they are different and thus are enemies. I control both sides, Morpheus. I won't let you change that. Agent Smith. Wow. Wow. That is some deep stuff, man. The fact that, wow. And I take it these comes from the comics, man. The fact that Smith is just seeming like, yeah, he's straight. He's not letting anything slide. He's not letting anything slide. Smith is deep, man. The more when I look into it, the more it makes sense. I'm surprised. I guess to keep Agent Smith as the top, because at first I'm like, well, why don't they bring in other agents and stuff? But yeah, you don't want to dilute him. Yeah, I could definitely see not wanting to dilute his character any, because if you bring in, what was the other one? Agent Brown, I think it was. Agent Smith, Agent Brown, and I forgot the other one. Those were the three agents from the first one. And I think the second one they brought in the others, but I don't remember the points or the parts and when they named them. The only one I remember is Smith, but it says Brown, and I forgot the other name of I'll look it up. The other agents from the Matrix. So that would be Agent Brown and Agent Jones. I think Jones is the one that was about to end Neo on the ground when she said, "Dodge this." I think that was him. I'm not sure. It was definitely one, Brown or Jones, when when Neo was moving like them to dodge the bullets, and she goes, "How did you move like that?" When it first when he was embracing Smith, of course, is the standard. He starts as the standard agent, but they're saying Jones, the Jones, and alongside Smith, representing the system's full control. Yeah. So, Jailhouse Max, so good to see you, man. Agent Jose. Holy smokes, man. Yeah. It happens, man. It definitely happens. It's not really too much to say, but it is what it is, man. I'll go forward with what the research deems with the human origin, and see where that leads, man. See what that leads into. Just that was the real thing. It's been hard to do the show every day and then edit too. So that's the real tough one. That's why I'm like, I might just do video short, 3 to 4 streams a week. The stream every day. It's been almost a month, I think, straight. I think the 12th, no, like the 13th or 14th. That'll make like 30 days or something, or 1 month. Because I think I started streaming every day. I started like early, like December, like early December, 4th, 5th, 6th, and maybe even the 7th or 8th. But there was one day I took a break, so that was around the 13th, I think, or 14th. So it's the 11th. Well, tonight, if I stream Sunday night, the 11th, which I should, I'll see what happens. Yeah, man, you were saying that. Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you. I thank you just for being in the chat, bro. It's like, thanks for the support in any way. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I just the They Live thing, man. That this was something that but the Smith thing just overrides it. It's freaking unbelievable. They say the upgraded agents. So what are they upgraded with? From the Reloaded and Revolutions, Agent Johnson, Jackson, Thompson, larger, stronger, and faster versions appear in the sequels, offering a greater challenge to Neo. I guess that's one of the ones that jumped on the car during the highway chase scene, and he's jumping, like bouncing from the top of car to try to get over to Neo. Yeah, the Matrix was intense, man. It was intense. It was really knowledge seeker of truth says. Another one of my favorite quotes, this time from Agent Jones. Humans are codes. They worship a piece of paper, not because they want to, but because we program them to. Wow. Wow, that is deep. Agent Jones. Oh my goodness. Breaking out the different agents. Agent Jones, man. That is, yeah. Yeah, that's what it's about, man. Like these different basically bits of knowledge. Basically. Yeah, bits of knowledge. They say while typically appearing in sets of 3, Smith, Brown, Jones, their numbers and forms evolve within the matrix itself, as seen with the upgraded trio and the introduction of bots in newer versions. Wow. Wow. So yeah, I guess there is 6 agents, 3 of the original Smith, Brown, Jones, and then 3 of the upgraded. So yeah, so we see that. Yeah, I figured they would go deep and start writing for other parts of it. Alexa says, how much is the Matrix telling us as truths or just a movie? I think a lot of it has to do with being truths. A lot of it, analogy, like metaphorical. So in like, if you, there are certain, like with the pills, there's definitely a pharmaceutical thing to that you're supposed to take a pill, which I understand for the allure of the movie, but um, really, the pill is the metaphor for knowledge, for somebody telling you a truth. And how do they, if you want to really know the truth, that's when it was like, okay, you take the red pill. But Alexa says, MD, why are the Matrix agents named very basic and white? Jones, Brown, Thompson. Those I'm not too sure about when I look into it, because Jones, there's a very that's what Larkin Rose, I think he puts in his book, The Most Dangerous Superstition. I think he made I think it might be out, a movie called The Jones Plantation, where it's pretty deep if you get a chance to check out Larkin Rose. But I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. Like maybe because, and this is just me, speculating off of what you put here. Maybe if I look it up, maybe Smith, Jones, and Brown might have been very prominent plantation owners. Was the name? See, so that's a good one to ask. Was the names Smith, Brown, and Jones the last names of American plantation owners? That's actually, might be onto something there, man. Wow. It says yes. That is a deep one, Alexis. I think you're onto something, bro. Right here, what you're saying, why would these be the names, right? And when I typed in Smith, Brown, and Jones, are these the name of American plantation owners? It says yes. Names like Smith, Brown, and Jones were common surnames among American plantation owners, but they're also extremely common among African Americans due to the practice of slavery. Wow, this is a deep one, man. So they're like the plantation owners in the movie, basically. Like holy, and something runs the plantation owners, of course. That thing behind it, that could be why. Holy smokes, that could actually be. Let me see if the other ones, Thompson, what was the other one? Yeah, the Matrix is super black pill, bro. It's like, so I'm thinking the other one was Thompson. Like they put this stuff in the movies, just, yeah, no zombie would ever think twice about the agent's name. Absolutely, bro. You're so right on that. Thompson, what was the other one? The upgraded agents, Jackson. So it was Thompson, Jackson, and what was the other one? Thompson, Jackson, Matrix agent names. Type that in again. Jackson. They had other ones too. Pace, Gray, and White. But Smith, Johnson, Jackson. All right, so Johnson was the other one. Johnson. And The other ones too. Holy smokes. Thompson, Jackson, and Johnson were common surnames among plantation owners. Oh, the upgraded version. The upgraded version. Holy smokes. So then they had other ones like Pace, Ash, Gray, and White. So Pace, Ash, Gray, and White names. I don't know if these. I don't know. Or maybe I spelled gray different. But wow, we're historically. This is freaking crazy, bro. Because I typed in the other ones, Pace, Ash, Gray, and White. And they're saying those names were historically among American plantation owners and slaveholders. Richard Pace was an ancient planter, early tobacco, in Jamestown, Virginia. Holy smoke. Ash family with a plantation. This is amazing, man. You are just, you dropped it, Alexis. You dropped it. Google Matrix Agents Wikipedia and click the Wikipedia article. Okay, let me see. Agent's name. Let me see what you. Matrix Agents Wiki. Okay, Matrix Agents Wiki. Agents, the Matrix. Okay, I see it here. All right, I just popped it up. Is there anything specific in there? Physical aspects, guys, mechanical analysis, complex. So Lisa Nakamura said Morpheus's initiative. A black man leads the resistance or slave revolt against the machines. Holy smokes. Who are visible to us as Anglo-Saxon agents wearing suits. Wow. Wow. And that is amazing. I wonder if there's any black agents in any place in the Matrix at all. Read the last paragraph on the physical aspects. Okay, bro. I appreciate this, man. You're dropping it, brother. You are dropping it. Primarily, okay, just looking at it. They all look the same as one would expect machines to do, but most importantly, they all look white and middle class in a way that no one in the resistance does. Wow, this is deep. Holy smokes. Lisa Nakamura is dropping it. So we got to find out who she is, man. Who is Lisa Nakamura? This we might have to do another stream on. This is deep. The fact that the Matrix agents' names, holy smokes. Wow. Wow. This has got me like, okay, it says, Nakamura said primarily the presence of people of color in the film let us know we are in the realm of the real. Machine-induced fantasies and wish fulfillments. Okay, you're saying to read the last paragraph. Okay, on the physical aspects. Oh, okay, that one. That's the second to the last one. Because I think the last one's the analysis. Agents appear in the guise of human government agents wearing black-green business suits lined with gold fabric. White dress shirts, black shoes, dark green neckties with a silver bar clip. Okay. Square sunglasses. And they're copied from the attire of plainclothes agents of the United States Secret Service, as well as those of the Men in Black conspiracy. Okay, so it's saying here, is there anything in particular in this last paragraph? They're saying the physical aspects. I'm looking through it. The suits. Okay, so the Matrix, all right, reloaded 6 months after the fact. They deployed upgraded agents designed specifically by the machine to defeat the one. Unlike the original agents, they had a change of appearance. The suit jackets were lighter and more of a grayish green tone. They were bulkier, wider, and taller in appearance. The upgraded agents also spoke with a slight, almost unnoticeable reverb to their voices, which made them sound intimidating even while discussing mundane matters, unlike the regular agents who sounded perfectly normal. Okay, so a type of voice modulation also, because that does matter. That does matter. I noticed that. And so then agents are in fact highly advanced artificial intelligence entities programmed with a number of superhuman abilities. As agents do not exist in their own bodies or as other programs do. So being ended is the temporary inconvenience because they take over the virtualized body of a blue pill. Wow. A human directly connected to the matrix, which transforms into the agent's form until the agent leaves the body. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. That is deep. That is deep, Alexis. You are so right, man. The last part in that paragraph section is basically Agent Jose, Agent Marquez. Holy smokes, man. It's rather they take over the virtualized body of a blue pill, a human directly. Wow. That is deep, man. It gets deeper in the analysis part too. When Agent Smith syndrome, yeah, is real, man. The part right after the physical aspects, they get deep with Lisa Nakamura. I guess who is Lisa Nakamura? Because she must be like some type of Matrix historian or something. They said she's an Asian American studies digital media, feminist theory, film and television guys. I wonder if this is the lady that's doing these reviews on the Matrix. American professor of media and cinema studies. Seems like she probably would be that person because that's what they're saying. Is it possible for a black pillar like you to get invaded by Mage and Smith due to being a little blue pilled on coffee? Honestly, the coffee is Smith right there. The coffee, just the fact that messing with certain things shows it's not that I would say this is why the zombie apocalypse is a little different because it's more toward real life, the way they live is because they live is showing you what they're doing to people like right off the bat. And it's showing you like, look, if you can see through these glasses, you'll be able to detect who it is. But you also kind of detect who it is by questions. Who's on whose side, basically. V was another one that showed it. So the Agent Smith, I would say not as much as the Agent Smith, but actually the Matrix itself. So it's not being invaded by Agent Smith. I think it's being invaded by the blue pill, basically. So the coffee, the foods that are not healthy, any type of, like I said, you're only going to avoid certain microplastics and stuff to a certain limit because the fact that scientists are detecting these things in clouds and stuff like that, anybody can look it up. You can see where you can be zombie free to an extent. But you're right. If a person, like how me being a little blue pilled on, it's not even really being blue. See, now this is the difference too. It's open addiction. To know that the coffee is not the best choice and to still do it is, it wouldn't be blue pilled on saying, oh no, well, sometimes it's good for you, like making excuses of why it's not bad. It's saying, no, no, I know it's not good. I know it's not good. And it's an open addiction. It's showing that the physical addiction, the comfort, that addiction to comfort, because if it was Agent Smith, it would be coming out trying to say, you should drink a cup too. Instead of saying, hey, it's good that you stop drinking coffee for a few days. Even if you go back to it, I understand, because the physical addiction is there. So the comfort. So it's there is a good few ways to look at that, but that's a great question. Mr. X, what's up, bro? How's everything?
Good, good. Yeah, good to catch you on here. Finally was able to get back on because, work and everything. But just listening, just tuning in right now. I'm so busy. But it looks like a good show going on here. But I was watching these YouTube videos the other night, these prank videos of a guy. He goes to these sporting events as an opposing team fan, and he gets into fights with people. And it's just like I can't help but think of what you said. The sports zombies are so real. The fact that somebody would assault another person just based on another color or supporting another team with another logo, it shows you, I'm just thinking right there, what Ebony said is so true. The sports zombies are real. They're out there. It's something else.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. The sports zombies, man. It's like very hard to speak with any of them, man. Alexis says, MD, what's your theory on Agent Smith is the leader of the agents? They don't outright say it, but he is the one with the most power and influence over the story and agents. I would say he's more like the director, because the thing about with the Agent Smith thing with the other agents, it gives us a good insight into the fact that Agent Smith is in charge, but the Matrix itself, we see how the Matrix it's just his position, because at any moment another agent will take over his spot. Like I'm trying to remember how it happened when Neo was where Smith was when Neo happened to make it to the roof. And I don't know if it was Jones, Agent Jones, or Agent what's the other name they have for him? Smith, Jones, and man, I can't believe I forgot the names already. But here, let me see. I think I have it here on the wiki. Jones and Brown. So Smith, Jones, and Brown, and then the three upgraded ones was Jackson, Johnson, and what was the other one? Because it had one. I just had a page open with all of them, and because there's 6 known ones, and then it goes into some other ones too, and they all have like the FBI look. Jackson, Johnson, and Thompson. So that's the other ones. And then I guess it was another page where they had a few other ones. So this professor of it's kind of odd. I guess she looks into cinema when because there were some stuff in there that was very much to the Rodney King stuff. They were saying, I don't think he's the leader, because it's like when he gets shut down, and that other agent tries to shoot Neo, and Neo dodges the bullets, and then he walks up to him and I think he says to him like only human or something like that, and he goes to plug Neo, and then Trinity puts the piece to his head and says dodge this, and she ends that agent, right? So now in that scene, where's Smith? So Smith was not, I don't know how, I don't remember how he got disposed of momentarily for that other guy to take over, which I guess is Jones or Brown. And then I guess they escape at that point. So from that point they evaded them. Um so yeah, I don't think Smith, I think Smith, they put him as like the character, like the charismatic one, to say, okay, we, like you said, it's like, okay, it puts him in the lead position in sort of say, and he is the guy saying, okay, Smith is the one that's getting his orders though from the Matrix. And if anything happens, the other agents like automatically, like a machine, take over the position, kind of like a military command structure. If the general gets off, the colonel is in command immediately, or like how we see with the president, the vice president, stuff like that. So there is something still behind the scene that's giving them the orders. That's the thing. So yeah, I don't think he is the one that's, yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like that fully. But this lady, I mean, she gets deep with this, man, saying that the presence of people of color in the film lets us know we are in the realm of the real. Matrix induced fantasies and wish fulfillments, which is what the Matrix is, and knowable to us by their distinctive and consistent whiteness. Nakamura says the agents visually represent the machine's hegemonic regime in having associations with corporations and cops. Wow. Wow, this lady's getting deep with her analysis of this. And they're saying, you know, she talks about the suits and stuff like that, clearly allied with the machine. And when the multiple agents are beating Morpheus, that she's saying it's reminiscent of the Rodney King thing. And that Stephen Fowler said of the agents that fear seems to be the entry point, that only when someone is afraid or startled can he or she become an unwilling agent. Oh, wow. So the person that's afraid, and this might be something to look into the movie as well. No, I don't think they're truly, I think they're programmed. So somebody can be programmed to end you. And no matter what we say, looking for whether or not they're evil, I think is looking for, I don't think it's really addressing, like it's more judgmental. It's to say if somebody is programmed by somebody else to end you, or say Manchurian candidated or something like that, are they evil, or have they just been programmed? Like if they were deprogrammed somehow, or if they could be, would they still want to do that to you? You know, and I hear what you're saying too. You have a good point that somebody could just be mentally deranged to a point to where, you know, they're just a threat, basically a threat to more than just other people, but they're a threat to themselves. So the agents, like honestly, I don't think the reason why I wouldn't say the agents are just evil is that Smith is dropping those knowledge. He's dropping the jewels on people. So he himself, in a way, with just by what he's saying, if you look at it psychologically, which we see it does come to fruition, is that he seems like he is starting to get the inkling that will grow into the search for meaning, the meaning of existence. Alexis says, I like your answer because in real life, someone becomes an Agent Smith due to you questioning them. You shouldn't treat them as evil, just as idiots. Yeah, exactly. You need to know that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like we have to be more careful of them to say, okay, it's kind of like certain things in nature. As much as you might want to crush it, you can't, because it'll spread. That's the way it infects. So it's like And that's another thing when I think about the way Morpheus would go inside of the agent and explode them. But you, like in real life, there are certain things you don't want to explode. You don't want to have to clean up. But the main thing is you don't want to have to to risk any infection, any type of infection. Contain the situation and eliminate it. Basically, minimize it and then store it away safely so it can't infect nothing else. And a big part of not being able to infect nothing else is to know, is knowledge. It's kind of like the Pandora's box thing. Even though people had warnings, look, I think it was originally a jar, don't open the jar. Somebody, Pandora, I guess, got curious and was like, wanted to see what was in it. And that, because that comes from people not giving enough examples of why something shouldn't be done. Like kind of like that cartoon, The Ghosts of Christmas Past or something, or I think it was called Ebenezer Scrooge or something like that, Ebenezer Scrooge, where the ghost of the past visit him and shows him what he was like, his wrongdoings and stuff. The present, same thing. And then the future, that's the one I think that wakes him up. That it's like, look, you see what you're going to become? The stuff, if you continue on the path that you're at, this is what the future holds. And sometimes being able to sit and look at that, I think that's another reason why they try to distract people. Because if we would actually think about this, it'd be a whole different situation. Do the agents control people, or do people willingly give them control? I think we give them control. I think we definitely give them control. Do the agents symbolize governments, corporations, algorithms, or something else? Well, in Professor Nakamura's, she makes a good point that they represent the fantasies and wish fulfillments of the like certain parts in the film. It's saying that it says the agents visually represent the machines that have associations with corporations and cops and wear suits. And so what you're saying here, they symbolize the relationship with the corporations. So that's, she gets deep. I got to look into her stuff. Thank you, Alexis, for hipping me to that Wikipedia article, because Nakamura, she's in the last part, Lisa Nakamura. And Jake the Church Zombie, good to see you, man. He says, why do the agents need human authority figures? Why do the agents need human authority figures? Police, suits, bureaucracy. I think the reason it's not that they need them, is that the movie, from what Nakamura's saying, is it's showing the relationship between that governing force and what is used to administer it, which is the police, the agents. So how it's saying that the agents visually represent the machines, hegemonic regime, in having associations with corporations and cops. So the business suits that the agents wear are clearly allied with the hegemonic machine, is what she's saying in her opinion or analysis of what's going on with what she sees in the movie. And she shows there was a point where Morpheus breaks the chains, the handcuffs. And when I saw that, I looked at that as like breaking the chains of slavery or something like that. It definitely has some, without a doubt, if it's studied in deep, I mean, this is a whole, Alexis was the one that kind of opened it up with the questions, because he had great questions that he comes up with. And then I said, you know what, let me look up to see if these names are the names of known plantation families, and they are, all of them. I'm like, holy smokes, that is deep. That is really deep. I think they're just enforcing belief, really. I don't think they're enforcing reality. They're trying to keep reality from being known, because when people, again, remember, they're trying to, anybody that escapes the matrix and is living like on the Nebuchadnezzar ship that Morpheus runs, or like in the Animatrix, I forgot the name of the other ship. Um, that is the fact that they're trying to destroy that, shows that they're trying to eliminate anybody who can see reality or say, no, 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 these people are sleeping in these pods, we're in reality, do you see, we just took you out of the pod. So they're enforcing the belief that the matrix is real, that the matrix is reality. And so, yeah, they're not enforcing reality. Yeah. It's the belief. If agents disappeared, would people ask questions or beg for new ones? Honestly, man, they'd probably beg for new ones, man. People are brutal, man. And that's what gets me with the human origin thing, where I'm like, the more I look into other life forms, it just, logic and reason points toward not everybody being a human. Just the way, like in the Matrix, you see the humans are supposedly represented by people that are sleeping in a pod, but the agents can infiltrate any of those humans at any time. And now, after they get offed or something, that human would, I guess, get flushed, and then a new thing would inhabit that pod and be grown and feed off of the remnants or the liquefaction of the previous body. Which, like when Morpheus was saying, the old are liquefied and fed back to the young. I mean, it turned us into, according to the Matrix movie, a like a product, like a basically, yeah, like a farm animal, below a farm animal. um Alexis says, I'm glad the chat is also interested in the agents. I rewatched the movie and the agents are extremely interested. Yeah, man. The agents are, it really gets you wondering, man. The real life version of the agents, CIA, does this stuff actually exist in our world, or is it just a movie? Well, it's really the analogies of it, Lewis. The analogy of saying, what are they trying to tell us with these agents, and how it's interacting with the people, and how the people are sleeping and not even conscious of what is really going on in reality. Now let's look at that compared to reality. How many people are just so, just out to lunch and not thinking? And for me, when, how in the movie, how an agent like comes through the person when Neo's running through the streets, and he's going through places, and then the person walking with groceries, whatever, turns into the agent. I look at that as, if you're running from someone, or like something happens to society, everybody turns in, like most of the people turn into the eyes and the ears of the machine at that point, without even knowing what you were running from. Say it was a guy that was running from uh, an illegal stop where the cops were crooked and they were trying to off him because he was going to give information against corruption in law enforcement, and now he's trying to get away from them. Say he had to do something to get away from them. Say he did something violent. So now the average person doesn't know the story. They see this guy do something to get away from him. Now he don't know, the person, whoever. And now, most, for a person that doesn't know, that stays a little smart, they would mind their business. But most people have the Agent Smith syndrome. It'll pop out. We already see it'll pop out. Is waking up just switching cages? No, actually, in a part, it could be switching into other parts, different cages that go toward the opening. So it could be. That's actually a good question, man. Pekka, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's because when you think about it, it's like, okay, that you're in the Matrix, and it's like, the Animatrix showed a good one of the kids that he had a skateboard and he was trying to get out the Matrix. So it's like, imagine knowing you're in the Matrix, like how Neo did, and you're like, yo, I gotta meet Neo. I gotta meet Morpheus. I gotta meet Trinity and these people. You know, what am I? What is the Matrix? You know, you get curious about it. So you will switch from different modes of waking up, which could be metaphors for different cages, until you get to that point where the real cage to escape is the cage of belief. Because if you can open that door, there's no other cages that can hold you. That's why with the human origins research, the stuff that I've been finding is it's so like Twilight Zone, outer limits type of stuff, that I said, I got to publish this. And the show will probably be talking about a lot of stuff with that, but it's all relevant to this too, because we're all waking up in different ways. Knowledge Seeker of Truth says, if everyone can become an agent at any moment, was individuality ever real? See, this is the thing. I don't think everybody can become an agent at every moment. There was something somebody mentioned called there was like a certain percentage of people that didn't take to it. Are you there, Mr. X?
Oh, I'm right here, right here. Yeah, just pop back in, pop back in. When I get a chance, I want to mention something about the movie The Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, well, I think a really important point about that movie, they made it certain that the agents, the whole artificial, whatever you want to call it, matrix, was dependent on the survival. Like they couldn't operate independent of mankind. They needed mankind alive. They needed populated in order for them to survive. Obviously, they were using it for energy. That was the excuse. And I think that's a very important point. They have to have humans alive and populated, but they need them controlled. They want them controlled. It's like if they could live without the humans, they'd be fine. But the way the system was set up by whoever was the creator, because he implied it was created. We were created by the same being. That's what Agent Smith implied. We didn't evolve. We were both created. That it's set up so that they couldn't live independently without humans. They didn't like it, obviously, but they had to deal with it, but they wanted to control it at least. And I think that was an important point the Matrix was making in the movie, because I think that was very relevant to what it was trying to convey. Because I think it's, you know me, I'm looking at more of a spiritual aspect, that maybe the spirits don't really care about us, don't want us here, but they can't live without us. So there was a tie-in from the creator. That's why they couldn't just eliminate the entire human population. They had to keep it on Earth, breathing and living, but just under a zombie-like effect, in an illusion, basically. But they had to be alive. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, so kind of needing us for some purpose.
Right. It doesn't want us. It doesn't want us here, but whoever started the whole thing, whatever created being started the whole thing, made them dependent on our existence also. It's
Or
like they were
maybe
intertwined.
there's something we hold that is needed that we don't even know we have, that
Of
if they
course.
got it from us, then they would eliminate us. That's the only, or maybe they need us just to hold that. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like something that's created from an element that only we have, or some type of
Right.
thing that we can generate, or something like that. Or
No, and they hate it, but they weren't in charge of that. They weren't the creators. They hated it, but they accepted it. But then they said, "But let's try and control it at least."
or they
Take
could
a
be
Yeah.
midway or something. It's sort of like, you wonder, could it be with what you're saying about that? Could it be like something where, say, we find out something directly created us
Hmm.
that is more powerful, but still in a type of a humanoid form, maybe mixed with a different type of mammal or
Right.
another thing. So it's not fully human, but we're seeing that, okay, we're created, that these beings created us, but then we see them create a being that we know we're physically superior to, mentally and everything, and say it favors that, and it says, you know what, I want you all to worship this. And it's like, well, what are you talking about, worship that? We already know that all of that stuff is a mental game, and
Hmm.
and the being says no, no, and then we get to the point where we start to wake up and start to see that the person that created us might not have our best interest at hand. And I'm not saying that's the ultimate creator, because maybe something created that being and then something created that being, it goes
Mhm.
on however long. But it's
But
to
then
say,
nothing comes into existence. That's the problem with that argument. That if something created this, something created that, there has to be a beginning somehow.
well, that's the hard part, that people they have a hard part grasping that it can't be a beginning if you understand infinity. So you can't
Hmm.
you don't really understand infinity if you think that there's a beginning. And if you uh understand that, wow, there can't be a beginning, I can't fully grasp that.
But
But
then nothing can exist. That's the problem. Nothing can exist because it has to wait an infinite time before it comes into an existence, which
well,
would be
there's also a thing saying that nothing doesn't exist. So, in other words, there's
Mhm.
always something. The illusion is thinking that nothing exists. There's
I
no,
agree. That's why there has to be a beginning. It has to be something.
well, what was before the beginning?
What was before the beginning? That something has always existed. Always existed. Now, for our finite minds, that's very hard to
Well,
conceptualize.
what before that? Like, what is
No,
before
there is no
all?
before that. There is no before that.
So it's just an always.
Always, yeah,
All right. So the
basically.
always is the infinity then.
Yeah, you could look at it one and the same.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
So the always,
Absolutely.
yeah. The always is a good way to look at it. The
And I don't
always.
see any other way to look at it because
It,
either way either point you go to, you end up at the same conclusion. You know what I mean? So either way, something has to have always existed. Either way, whether if you want to call it
yeah.
nothing or you
Yeah.
want to call it something, those are your two options
Yeah,
basically at
yeah.
that point.
And even if it's something where it didn't exist, then there had to be existence before the non.
Yeah,
Like, it just keeps going. It keeps going and going, and it just
right.
there's never something forever. And like, to just say that there's always something there, it allows somebody to get a little closer to trying to understand it.
And
Like,
remember, this is totally illogical. I mean, this state can't be. You know what I mean? This is something that is defies natural and scientific laws. So to put
well,
some type of logic and reasoning to this, I think is a lost cause. It's a
I
supernatural
don't know if
element.
it denies it. I don't know if it totally denies it. Actually, I think might logically be a reality.
No,
And
I
we,
agree it's reality, but it's on a supernatural level, is what I'm
no, I
saying.
mean, like, even thinking about it, like when you
Yeah.
think about it and you say, well, all right, so if there is no beginning, then there is a type of, it could be called the always,
Hmm.
that always existed.
Right. But
You
then
know,
still,
it
nothing would be
really,
there always. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like,
no, it makes sense that,
hmm
knowledge seeker of truth says, yeah, the agents are proof that consent. It seems that they are proof that consent is irrelevant once you're inside of a system. Yeah, there is no consent. That's actually a really good point right there. That's a really good point. And I think he's terrifying because he's both. The fact that he's wrong and the fact that he wants to eliminate somebody's freedom, but he's right in many of the realities that he talks about, that of some of the pills that he drops. If the system can simulate freedom perfectly, does freedom really matter? Of course it matters, because remember, if it simulates freedom, it can't do it perfectly, because then it would actually be freedom. Then an agent wouldn't be able to come through somebody else's body, get get uh get shot up, and then you see, like, the helicopter pilot in the Matrix, when the agent came through him and then he got bucked up, fell on the ground, then the agent disappeared and you seen it was the regular guy now. So now that guy would probably be flushed. So this is why, if it simulates it, if it's a simulation, it's never really truly freedom. So that's why freedom will always matter over this, because freedom is the choice.
hmm
It's not the illusion of the choice, basically.
They mentioned about Agent Smith and inhabited the bodies. They could be alluding to like spirits possessing people or getting inside of people.
It could.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of religious aspects to that movie that they were kind of implying a bit. I think they were. I really do. I don't think it was all based on a computer program. Um,
Oh no, there's a lot of religious stuff. At the last one that had Neo like in a cross formation, it was
mhm.
crazy Christianity stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
it's not
if you
about
look through
preaching
it.
either.
If
About
you
doing
look
that.
through it, you're going to see a lot of that. If you look
Yeah.
through it, you're going to see a lot of yeah, yeah. They the agents or the enemy or the no. I think honestly, whatever is governing us, the simp side of the force is these guys. They when you look at the human governance thing, the human governance is maintained by the agents. So we see that they are part of the human governance thing, which they want to be the future. Which it seems like, how do we even get out of this? It's like we're like in Kill Bill when he is like, you're like the worm trying to fight the eagle. What can the worm do except seek shelter in the ground from the eagle? There's no fighting the eagle. That's why he had told her that. Divine Hazel, good to see you. Oh, wow. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, yeah. Glad you're here, though. Always a pleasure. A perfect prison feels like normal life. Agent Smith, holy smokes. Alexis is dropping it, man. Does every revolution just teach the system how to adapt? Yes, it actually absolutely does. Absolutely. Matter of fact, Alan Watts spoke on that. He's like, name a revolution that's ever won or done anything. He goes, it's like the early warning system. It goes back to what we already know, the American Revolution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys won. World War
Yeah.
II. Okay, you guys won. Meanwhile, everything around us is Nazi, basically. It's like you look at that, and people have made like immediately not Agent Smith, I would say, comes out more like Agent Jones or Agent Brown, to where they're not trying to assimilate you; they're trying to make sure you don't disassemble their fake version of history. When you say,
Right.
"Look, the Nazis didn't lose World War II. It's like it seems that they won." And then Agent Jones comes out. Nah, we won. That's why freedom and all this. Then it's like okay, So he's not coming out like Agent Smith trying to just jump, chase you down, and assimilate you. He's trying to more keep the illusion of the fabric, the manufacturing of the cardboard town that we all live in called society, thinking that it's a real thing, thinking that it's more than a cardboard Hollywood town. And I noticed that one time back in the early 2000s when I was walking through Times Square at like midnight, 1 in the morning. It's lit up like daytime. So I mean, it looks like holy smokes. There's so much light, it's ridiculous. But when you walk 2 blocks away to Ninth Avenue, it's dark, and dark like you don't even see Times Square. You gotta like walk around the corner and stuff to start seeing the light again. And it's like, wow, look at that. That area right there, they keep that area like just brightly lit up at night to try to say the city never sleeps or something. But it's when I look at it, I said, this is totally fake. The same thing I noticed in Amsterdam, in Rembrandt Square, in Leidseplein Square, and stuff like that. It just it is cardboard city. It really is. It really is. Mark, good to see you, man. Jake the Church Zombie, does truth matter if it changes nothing? Well, I think the truth
Mm.
always changes something. So if to some people, and I understand what you're saying here, hopefully, this is what I interpret that you're saying, that to a zombie, the truth ain't gonna matter.
It's like
So
kryptonite to the
changes,
zombie.
yeah. So the truth ain't gonna matter to a zombie. You have a point if it's applied in that way. But if the
Mhm.
truth can change something, yes, it does matter. And that's where we see now that the truth, look at evolution zombies. Truth does not matter to an evolution zombie. That it does
Yes.
not matter. What matters is their religion. Red Blur, good to see you, man. People who love going to downtown to see bright lights and neon lights equals human mosquitoes. That's a good one, Red. That's a good one, bro.
I think the truth matters a lot, though, MD. It's we're affected by the truth. I mean, the truth, and those things can hold us back big time from
Yeah, your
achieving our
thing broke
goals.
up a
I
little,
really
so I didn't
believe
hear
that.
the full thing.
Oh, sorry. No, I think the truth really does matter because when you live in a lie, it's going to affect your life. It can hold you down. It can hold you back from achieving what you want.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see
I
that.
believe.
Yeah, now Jake the Church Zombie says, what if the system doesn't care whether you believe in it? Well, to a point, it doesn't. There's only a percentage. Like if you look at it, the only reason that there, because I think of this, it's like why do they keep us around? It's like how you were saying, maybe there's something we have that they need.
I believe so.
You wonder,
I
it's like,
believe
what was
so.
it, just to torment us?
Yeah. No, I mean the torment must be because like if we have to deal with you, you're gonna be under our control. We accept the fact that we have to put up with you here. But you're gonna be under our thumb and follow our rules if we have to do this. It's like whoever put us here, them and us, said, nope, you're gonna be together, whether you like it or not. Yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
we just can I mention like one thing about the truth? We mentioned something about, the voting. How much does it really matter? Do we really have that much power with our vote? Well, if we believe in the truth that we don't have that much power and that's based on the evidence, we're not going to go out in the streets and start fighting with people about who the candidate. If they support one candidate and we support another, we're not going to fight with them, maybe catch an assault charge and do time. We're not going to do stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just we're going to ignore the conversation and go about our life. That's one way the truth can really benefit you. You don't become a political zombie. You know what I'm saying? And ruin your life over stupidity. So the truth matters. It does matter.
Yeah. Yeah, the truth definitely matters. I mean, I can understand his point though. If it's a zombie, if it's not going to change anything, does it really matter? Like, you know, if it changes nothing. So
Hmm.
this is where I think I'm understanding what he's saying is that does it, we know some people, no matter what we tell them, they're going to be zombies. So the truth
Well,
doesn't matter because it's not going to change nothing to them. The truth to them doesn't matter. Now to us it does because it does change something. If a person is unzombified, if you know that drinking out of a plastic cup is worse than drinking out of a glass cup or say bottle, and you have the ability to have the glass bottle, well then right there we see the benefit of the truth. But I hear
oh
what you're
yeah.
saying to the
Well,
zombie.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's not going to change the system. I mean, maybe he thinks the system won't change. So what does it matter? No,
yeah,
no, it's about navigating the
yeah.
system.
And
It's not about
Nazi,
changing it. Yeah.
yeah, Nazi has a good comment. He says it takes a drop to ripple the water. That's all it takes. Yep, exactly. That one drop of
Hmm.
truth. It just and Lee Gunner, yeah, you're right. Are you a human or a function? Yep, exactly. Exactly. That's a really good question, man.
What
Yeah,
was
you
that
wonder
question?
about the suffering, huh?
What was that question again? Because I missed that.
He says, are you human or a function?
Hmm. A function. Okay.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if anyone would voted the government will I don't think so because with communism they don't vote. Like Stalin was saying, it doesn't matter who votes. What matters is who counts the votes. If no
Yeah.
one pays taxes, but see, and that's the big thing with the status. They'll say, well, what about the roads? Now, this is to show you the crookery, right? Um, Roads are supposed to be maintained by gasoline taxes, the tax on the fuel. But for some reason, imagine the amount of tax money that comes in every day from tolls, because tolls also supposed to fix the road. So those type of things make sense. You say, okay, when you buy gas, when you buy fuel. When you go over a bridge or a tunnel or a toll, you pay money, and that money goes to maintaining, to pay the salaries and for the materials. So it makes sense. But now when people are stealing into that, and now it makes it even easier because all the tolls are 90% of them in New York are electronic now. You don't even see it. It is on a level where people don't realize the surveillance is on another level.
It's going to get worse too.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying that, one of the things I think Alexa says, what Black Pill was like one of the most the awareness one is being aware that we're under constant surveillance.
Yes. Which I don't mind. I'm not sweating it because unless you're a real threat, they don't care. I don't think. And if you're a taxpayer, then they really don't care because, okay, you're part of the system, you're paying into us, so you serve a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something to do. Yeah, I think it's like it's more for the younger generation to make sure that they just they totally have a grip on the mind. And honestly, I think it's for people that we don't even know exist. Like the people that are battling them, like say there were resistance, right? They would never broadcast that on the news because it'd be like giving them an advertisement saying, oh,
exactly.
There's a resistance that just took 20 politicians that we don't even know exist, and people are probably fighting them. Imagine if they, I don't know if you ever saw that movie, the Sixth Day with Arnold, and how they clone people, and it was saying like, okay, you get rid of somebody and then they clone them, and you realize, well, wait a minute, they just got rid of that guy the other day. How is this possible? They might be beyond that type of tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Agent Smith. I don't see people. I see codes, man. It just communism is a small hat invent. Wow, holy smokes!
That's not good. Yeah. That will get you into trouble. That kind of talk. You know
I don't even play into it anymore. It's just like the people have their opinions. We already know here. It's like there is always something behind the scene that is trolling people to try to blame a group or something, not knowing that there's always something behind that group. Any group we see, any group of humans, especially, it makes me wonder. It's like that's the whole thing to say, to say, hey, humans, it has to go beyond humans. Or at the least humans that have a longer lifespan than the humans we see. Like another misnomer might be is thinking that, again, that whole thing of them saying, oh, well, everybody's created equal, but we're not going to treat everybody equal. So we see that right there. But the other thing is to say, wait a second, people are different. And what if there are some people that are just designed genetically to live longer? But these people, these categories of people are being controlled by a certain group of humans that we never see, because we're in such a low part of the system. There's no need for us. It's like, what are you talking about now? It's like how George Carlin said, the poor are only there to scare the crap out of the middle class. So there might be people to where they live a lot longer, like with the Neanderthal so-called bones. They said that if people lived, say, 200, 300, 400 years old, the brow ridge would continue to grow and thicken, and the bones, and you could have bones that look like this. So an explanation that they don't like to look into is to say the reason these bones are so robust and strong and thick are because they're older, over centuries older. Because you see, that's not taken into account. That, wait a minute, if somebody has a skeleton that's 100 years old, What is the difference? Is it, what minerals, are there any minerals depleted, the calcium, whatever, if it's a healthy skeleton when the person passes, even if they're 90 or 100, to say, what happens, what would it look like? Could we simulate it if it lived longer, if the organism lived under uh, a higher concentration of oxygen and stuff like that? So this is the way science goes. Yeah, it just well, panic button, we're staying within YouTube's guidelines. This is why we talk about certain topics, and then other topics, if somebody has a website or something, they can talk about those topics there. We're not saying that they shouldn't be spoken about. We're just saying there's a place where they would be spoke about, because if you
Exactly.
want to, yeah, continue to have conversations like this at nighttime, then I have to at least stay within the parameters of
Yep.
being able to do that. Yeah, it's just like, and I try to explain it like, and I'm so glad you see that hit the panic button, because I want to talk. I want to talk about, and if we can find a way to do that, great. Eventually, I will have Scribe, because he's like just a master at computer stuff, put a website up. I mean, you already guys already know I don't like to charge people. He had the one to push me to monetize everything, and he's right. Now that I need money, it's a different story too. I can't just do it for free. Back in 2020, I was paying for the StreamYard and everything, but I appreciate everybody's support. I mean, this is what's making it happen. I'm going to try to advance into where I'm producing a video, a short, and a live stream, but the video and short can be done every day. The live stream, I'm thinking I might cut it down to 3-4 days, depending on how much people, I don't want to over push it. And then also it gives me time. The big thing is getting this book edited fully. So once that's there, then I can start going into more of the human origins and stuff, because people are going to say a lot of stuff, because I'm going to follow the evidence, and where the evidence goes, people are, it's sort of like saying, okay, even with just the evolution thing, it's saying, all right, well, why can't these skeletons be older? Why don't they do research for that, to say, look, what if a skeleton, what if a person did live to 2 or 3 or 400 years old? What type of skeleton what would that look like? And these are the things that I noticed that they're sequestering AI with, because if you ask these questions in a certain way, the evolution bias will block you. It'll say, oh, well, this developed, and it'll give you the whole shebang from the evolution thing. And it's like, that's not what I asked. And this is
Yeah.
why I still am a firm proponent of thinking for ourselves and not using AI to a point, because it'll you still have to edit stuff. You still have to go through it. If people that write books with this stuff, totally is just, you can see a difference that is very low quality. And then also the creative spark comes from the human. It comes from, we're the ones that now in time, yeah, maybe AI will rival, because if you program a lot of stuff in, the average human today, the way they have just been drained of any type of an intellect, will look at AI and think it is creative, because they're so uncreative. I mean, you have people that don't want to try even. They I mean, look at how it's become to where it's bad enough that I used to play video games, but imagine, there's been a few times a couple of years ago where I've actually watched reviews and stuff on video games. And I'm saying, man, that's not good.
No.
That's not good. And you start to wonder, to do stuff like that does come from a lack of wanting to create and a lack of wanting to know. Because I remember as a kid, I used to always love the animal shows and stuff. Now, the amount of animal stuff that is around is just, it's ridiculous. That's why with the book and everything and the evolution conversations are good, to say, okay, let's look at this life form. Let's look at this life form, and honestly, like we'll do the math and everything to see what are the mathematical probabilities of the cells that would be devoid of hemoglobin. Like there's certain animals that are very transparent, that even have transparent blood cells, if I remember correctly. And there's a way, like, of course, the evolutionists will say, oh, they learned how to hack evolution. Everything's evolution. You already know
Yeah,
that.
of
It's like,
course.
I mean, they are looking for a word at any break in a conversation to fit the word evolution in, to say, yeah, it's, it's evolution. And and when I look at it, that was the whole thing of these guys that with scribe in them that have the belief of the shape. It wasn't the shape thing. It was the fact that they touched two holy grails, the one of NASA and the one of evolution, the archaeology.
Hmm.
I think that was I think it was more of the NASA one too.
Is there anything in your research that you found that really stood out to you so far with your human origins book?
Yeah, what stood out to me that I think a lot of the guys on both sides of the spectrum of what would be called race are going to be very critical, I would say, of the fact that what the evidence is showing. What the evidence is showing is that one for sure, it's not happened. Nothing happened by chance. It's like
Hmm.
uh, it's so ridiculous that I'm doing a lot of mathematical computations, like calculations and stuff, to be like, listen, this is the calculation just right now to get this to happen by chance. So all of the origin of research, funding, and all of that, because we know that that research is being continually pushed, even though they're not uh, finding any progress. Even Professor Lee Cronin said it. He was I think, one of the head guys that was there, and he's one of the guys that the fake professor and stuff on YouTube follow, and they try to constantly quote their papers. And it's like, wait a second, when this guy was on Lex Friedman, he even said it. He goes, it's a scam. Every
Mm.
time they can't find, oh, well, we'll do this now. We'll do this now. We're going to find the origin of life. And it's like, come on. It's like the cigarette study. Every time they test it, it shows that this is not something you want to be doing. Okay, we'll give you another $1 billion for the next year, and we're going to make the facilities even more high tech because they're making billions a year, and they're saying the what you found is this, but we're going to call it inconclusive because we got another year of research to do.
Right.
And
Exactly.
now you find for 30 years the same conclusion of that it is not beneficial, it's actually can be dangerous, this and that, but they will keep funding it. So it's like, in a way, paying people off every year
Hmm.
in a way it's even smarter. It goes into a higher level of crookery of paying people off. It's saying, no, they're not even paying people off. They're creating institutions that look like they're doing research to find out the truth under the disguise of just signing a paper off to say tobacco is safe, or it's inconclusive, or if you do this, don't do it when you're pregnant, and anything to keep. I mean, it's so ridiculous, man, with that and the alcohol business. It's like, I'm not saying people shouldn't be able to smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol. I'm just saying the truth is very important. And another thing with that is we're being advertised it everywhere. The fact that
Yes.
every movie, any stressful situation, the person runs for a drink of alcohol, lights up a cigarette. So it's like, not only is it, one thing, it's like, oh, you're marketing this to people in openly, overt and covert ways.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just yeah, yeah,
I mean, some of the marketing, I've been in liquor stores before, and they really know how to market their product. That's for sure.
yeah,
They know what they're doing.
yeah. There is no politician, and this is the craziest thing. The word politician, because you guys know I'm on the words a lot. The word politician means the art of being shrewd. If you look up shrewd, shrewd means it means a type of deception. So having sharp powers, judgment, right? Astute. So shrewd, it has how there's going to be more than just one meaning. There's going to be little little ways like, okay, astute, sharp-witted, uh intelligent, clever, but also in an archaic sense to some of it, um mischievous or malicious. So the art of being mischievous, the art of being malicious in Middle English, right? Uh, it says in the sense evil in nature or character, from shrewd
Mm.
in the sense of evil person or thing. So politician being the art of being shrewd, the art of being an evil person or a thing. It's basically open. This is almost unbelievable that this is for anybody to look up and just say, okay, what is the definition of of this word? And then you look at the other words and you start to say, oh, so this one goes into this other word, and it's hard to find. Like they are making it smaller and smaller and smaller. Now it turns into a lot of circular definitions, like, oh, a legislator, a stateswoman, a statesman. It's like, no, no, no. We need to know um, really the etymology, and it's crazy that I have to even ask it to look up the etymology. It's like because I used to have it in a college dictionary where it had shrewd in there, but it's getting into a lot of the office stuff. Wow. And it figures even with AI, and these mugs are gonna play this crap. I mean, this is why I don't like a lot of this stuff, because you still have to search for it, whether you have to think. I'm a firm proponent on thinking. Yeah, AI a little bit, but not a lot. And even that you have to be very careful. It's like somebody was saying too, if you don't get dictionaries before 86, you're getting something that's all bought up by one company.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true.
Knowing how to define a word is like knowing how to do math on paper. If you can't do 2 + 2 and then say it equals 4, and then say, okay, how do I reverse 4 minus 2 equals 2? Okay, boom. That formula should always just be there like that. Remember. So there's no test. It's saying, okay, you know how to do it. It's like tying your shoe. You don't have to study on how to tie your shoe because there's going to be a test tomorrow on how to tie your shoe. You know how to tie your shoe. And this is the way things need to be learned, in a way where somebody knows it, but they condition us in a way not to really know it or to forget it easier by studying for a test. Because life trains you differently. Life will test you right away. And then you whether you fail or pass the test, if you fail it too bad, you ain't going to be here to test again. So this is why when people learn from these mistakes, they become more powerful, because they're like, oh no, I know from experience. But experience alone ain't good enough. Experience, reflection, and then changing your actions according to you reflecting on the experience, changing your actions in a way that benefits you.
Yes.
Like somebody might say, yeah, man, when you're walking out in the woods, don't just go, what, you got to make sure you got like some type of stick, or like a weapon, like an axe or something, because you never know. Even with that, a mountain lion could come out and do something. So it's like you learn. You don't walk around like the only people. Some people think about how they sheepalize people to where they walk around in these places totally oblivious. Not only are they prey to animals, but they're prey to other human predators, and that's how a lot of people go missing and stuff, because we're living in Sheepville. It's straight Sheepville, 100% Sheepville. I mean, it there is something that goes so deep beyond the human picture that people, if you bring it up too soon, they immediately attack with, "Oh, you're being unscientific." And these are majority of the people that believe in the unscientific theory of evolution and goes into other stuff. Like there was a few physicists and stuff that were open-minded. Like they understood. Like if I tell people, look, evolution's a theory, and most of us can agree to that. Some people will say it's a theory, but it's also a fact. That's like that guy with the channel, Aaron, the guy Aaron or something, Aaron. The
Aaron Rock.
Yeah, the Ming, the merciless looking guy from. He kind of reminds me like he's wearing the Ming from the Flash Gordon type of thing. But
Right.
yeah, and it's a character. It's a all of that he does. You know, somebody made a video about him. They were religious, but they kind of crushed it because they had a picture with him at like a festival with it was like a leather festival or something with it was just like right out of a Right Said Fred video or something. You know, those people that sang the song "Too Sexy for My Car" or something.
Some,
Um,
I remember that song. Yeah.
yeah, definitely some leather BDSM type of.
Hmm.
He got him with a. I mean, he's not wearing anything like that, but the people he's with is just. There's some underhanded stuff going on. Not to say anybody that lives that lifestyle is bad. It's just saying that I don't think this guy is the scientist that he portrays himself to
Oh
be,
no.
and
No.
he is cheerleading Dave hard. Like, I mean, when I see the cheerleaders, it's like you don't need to cheerlead the truth. The truth is the truth. So some of the stuff I think that I've found that more to the shocking side of it, um, it shows and I don't like to use the word design because of the intelligent design people that are very religious. And as soon as that's brought up, people immediately they're so traumatized by these guys trolling them hard. And I have to admit that. I give them credit for calling them out. So it might not really even be classified as them just trolling them. But when they run and say that, okay, this is not science and that their religion is true, it just totally throws the whole thing it just messes. I think it drives people to more toward the pseudoscientific evolution theory.
Yeah, when they start preaching about the
Yeah,
Bible, and
yeah,
so yeah, no,
exactly.
I agree. I agree because it's not part of the debate.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a
It
whole
should just
different
be,
debate. We're dealing with
yeah.
origins.
Exactly. It should just be total science. And I think that's what I'll be bringing to the table more that people would say, oh, one lady, she's a Christian, whatever. And when I talked to her on a show, she was like, I've never heard anybody from that position. So you're a person that's coming from a place of science on why evolution is not scientifically true, but you're not religious. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm looking at it from a scientific perspective,
Right.
totally. Not to say that a religion is correct. I'm saying that this is not scientifically correct. We already know your religion can't be 100% true. It's part opinion, and you're going to have some pieces to the puzzle that are going to be documented facts if we can prove them.
Mhm.
So, or we can prove a commonality and say, oh, okay, your religion says this, that religion says something that's very similar. So it's showing us that this story has like some type of a common origin that kind of points toward, okay, why would these stories be remembered so much if they were just some type of fiction? So, piecing it together, but then also letting them know that that the telephone game is real, and especially when you play it over centuries or millennia, things are going to get distorted. They're going to get taken out of context. They're going to get said in different ways. So this requires a lot of thinking in between the lines because now we're thinking in different ways to say, okay, you know, um, could it, what was the situation like here? Who benefits to us thinking and believing this? What's
Mhm.
the purpose of us believe, like the whole ancient history stuff. You say, well, who's benefiting from this? Like, wait a minute. So are you serious? It's like, so you're telling me something that you don't know for sure, as if you know it for sure. And the craziest part is this person would be like the head of the antiquities museum or something. Look at Zawi Hawass. I mean, the ridiculous amount of power they gave him, and he was. I mean, everybody saw the spectacle on Joe Rogan when he went there. I think they let him on there to expose the type of person he is, to say, look, we're just going to show you so you can see for yourself that this is a person years ago that when they said, look, we're getting radar images that show an opening, right? And he said he doesn't believe in radar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. That's literally crazy to have somebody say that as a response to saying, look, we want to dig here because we're getting a reading that shows there's an opening. So it's suggesting that there's a cavern, or at the least, and at the best, it would be a man-made room that might have, knowledge in it, like a hall of records.
It's like, I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it does.
And his response is he doesn't believe in radar. It's like, and then the fact is, you can't tell me that guy has all that power. Just like, so he's got a telephone with the army, and because that's what they did once, from what I heard, that somebody tried to dig at the paw of the Sphinx, and they had the Egyptian army come and stop them. So they get military real quick. It's kind of like America is so inundated with police. It's that usually the police will quell it. If it gets to where it's getting to something more, then of course you'll see the feds and stuff come in. But we have just so much different types of law enforcement that it would have to be somebody that that had a very well organized thing, that they'd have to defeat all of that for them to bring in even the National Guard, or much less one of the armed forces, because now you're dealing with the martial law. But this is why, again, every highway is required to have, I think it's 1 straight mile of highway for every 5 miles of curve. So if a highway is built in an area that's very curvy, every 5 miles, you at least have to have 1 straight mile. And that's by federal law, they say, is because in case of a wartime situation, they could land jets. Like fighter jets will have a place to land, and other military aircraft on that straight mile of highway. So when you really look at the whole situation of the countries, it's a military operation disguised as if it's a civilian country. It's all military. If you look at it, everything is military, man. It just,
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely.
we're just the farm animals on the military plantation, basically, and we don't even know. It's like, what are we here for? What are we here for? It's like, who are we here to scare with our existence, that they better work to do whatever work that these guys need done? Because when we look at a lot of the stuff that they do, the Hadron Collider, we don't even know what these things do.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't know what they're creating. We don't know who these people are. Are they really human? And the thing is they probably have a lot of people within the population. These are the people that tell us, like, oh, nothing's wrong. Just, why are you being a conspiracy? I mean, when you look at the average citizen zombie that tries to hold you back because of either malicious intent, either being a plant, or just being a full-blown ignoramus, which is reality. I mean, we can look back and see times in our life, if we've grown any in our life, is to say that, yeah, man, we were kind of stupid about certain issues, or ignorant. The fact that we didn't care. So we weren't necessarily stupid, but we didn't care about something that we needed to be concerned about, because it affects things that created the world we see today. I mean, there's not much we could do about the crazy taxes and stuff like that, but to understand how important financial independence is. I mean, it just really, yeah. Red Blur says the elites equal the farmers. The militaries are the guard dogs. Yep. And most of us straight farm animals, straight. You see it in the people, the cows, the chickens, the pigs, the sheep. We see it all as straight animal farm. When I would be in a traffic going to Manhattan, because anybody, when they work in Manhattan, if you're driving, you're going through traffic. And I was like, I was calling it a cattle drive. And I remember one girl was like, "Oh, that's not nice." She was, you know, some of these people, like, they get on that hippie thing, all nice to everything. And I'm just like, they just hide from reality. Cause I was like, listen, it's like we're all cattle. And when we're going to work, it's like we're sitting in traffic in a cattle drive. We're driving 10, 20, 30 miles an hour if we're lucky on a highway where we should be doing 60. And it's like just to get to what? To a toll to pay a bridge to get into Manhattan. When I mean, just when I look at the stuff, it's just like, you got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Yeah, I mean, it's the cattle drive or the traffic jam. And then it's not even sitting in traffic. You're part of traffic at that point. And it's like, so for 35 years, they haven't figured out a better system for that.
Mhm.
I mean, traffic is like made to slow down your life for some reason. It really makes you wonder. It has to be like, yo, you have to be crazy that all this traffic exists in certain areas at certain times. I heard LA is just like,
It's terrible out there.
yeah, somebody was telling me you're looking at 3 hours of traffic just to get to a place that would take an hour or sometimes even less, 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And you got to get on this highway. And it's like, wow.
I remember when I went to LA to see it, and I wasn't impressed. I must say, I was not impressed. A lot of poverty. You go in the train station, we took the train. I can't remember where we were going, but homeless people everywhere, crazy people everywhere. I mean, I definitely was not impressed with Los Angeles. And I guess by nighttime it gets empty. It's like a ghost town. Everybody, 'cause it's so hard to, the traffic. They just when they get out of there from work, they don't come back, and it's like a ghost town in LA. It's nothing like New York with people moving around, but
What year?
this was maybe, I don't know, she's 7, 8 years ago, maybe longer. I
Wow.
can't. It was before the thing that happened, the sickness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that.
Wow.
But yeah, I wasn't impressed. I mean, it's not a place I'd want to live. That's for sure. California's a beautiful state, but I don't know. The city itself just looked like a disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, LA has got a lot of they said the smog since like what, the 70s or the 60s
Something like that.
or
Yeah, I didn't
even
know.
the
I guess I didn't pick up on the smog. The thing I really noticed though was the homelessness. The homelessness was just out of control. Out of control. It was everywhere you go.
Yeah, they say LA. And I think part of that is it because of the weather is like so um like
And the benefits too. They get a lot.
accommodating.
Yeah, the weather's definitely accommodated, and also there's probably a lot of benefits like free food, free.
Hmm.
They
And
give out
Florida is more
stuff.
hot, right? Like Florida, even though it's warmer, it's just like a brutal heat, not like LA is more of a easy to live in temperature.
Yeah, I mean the winter times in Florida are great. Right now it's very comfortable.
But the summers are brutal.
Oh, they're brutal. Yeah, they're like it's awful. It's like a sauna.
So if
You
somebody
dream
was
of
out
snow.
there, so if they
Yeah.
didn't have AC, it would be brutal.
Oh no, you couldn't make it. I mean, some people I guess do it, but I don't see how. Because it'd be
So
like
like with a fan, no? A
yeah,
fan would
I
just
wouldn't
be
work for me. That's for sure.
wow,
Because
wow.
you got
Yeah,
the humidity
sometimes it
too.
is brutal, yeah, because some with the humidity, man. I've heard August, July is brutal and
Oh, it is. If you're not accustomed to it, I mean, you could literally faint walking around. Like, it's like, we get accustomed to it.
are there people that are accustomed that you see out in the brutal weather, like acting like it ain't affecting them or something?
Are you talking about the heat
Yeah, the
during
heat,
the
yeah.
summertime? Yeah, like when my relatives came down, we were walking around Miami Beach one time, and I was fine. But my mother almost passed out, because the heat. She couldn't handle it. Just
Yeah,
walking around.
yeah. I hear
It's
it's
because
hot. Yeah, I hear it's
yeah,
hot.
But
So
like I,
Cali,
I I get cold very easily because of that. When you get accustomed to the heat,
mhm.
then 70 degrees, man, you're freezing. It's like cold. It's 70 right now. I got to wear a jacket. I got to put everything on. But someone from the Northeast, this will be great weather.
But when you were in LA, the weather was nice the whole time.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful state. Everything's
Yeah,
nice. It's
yeah,
just you could tell it's poorly run.
yeah,
That's the problem with California in general. It's a beautiful state naturally,
yeah.
but they
That
just
part. Yeah. When I
yeah,
went to LA and San Diego, it was like it's like weather that you can wear like very light clothes, like
yeah.
short sleeve shirt, and just feel comfortable. Like it was like a
Hmm.
really comfortable atmosphere as far as the weather going.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
guess
No, the
if you
weather
go
was
more
great.
north, yeah, because San Fran's a ways like what, like 5 hours north or
Yeah,
something.
we actually drove from LA to San Francisco and made stops along the way.
How long
Um,
was it about?
uh, I don't know. We spent 2 or 3 nights in different hotels along the way because we wanted to see some certain towns,
Yeah.
there also. So we didn't drive straight through, of course.
Mhm. And Sacramento's like in between, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. We didn't go out that there. We stayed mostly on the coast. We drove
Yeah.
along the coast the whole time. It was very scenic. It's beautiful.
Oh, Sacramento's more like inland.
I believe so. Yeah, that's the capital, and yeah, that's not near the ocean.
Mm,
So we
mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
drove the Pacific Highway all the way up almost, and it's a great drive. It's a wonderful drive.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, even San Francisco, beautiful weather, beautiful place, but same routine, just very poorly run. At the end,
Wow.
yeah, just because some of these mentally ill people, they're just all over the streets, so they're going to cause problems. You
That's
can't
tough.
have that out there, and the massive amount of them. It's just so many. It's like, the zombie machine is real. We got people there. I
Mhm.
mean, you think about why people do the things they do, and you got to realize you can speak the truth, but if you're speaking to the truth to somebody who doesn't live in reality, who's partly delusional,
Mhm.
a little bit nuts, it's not going to resonate. Their
Mhm.
minds are caught up in other things that don't make that wouldn't make any sense to us. But they're not playing with a full deck either, and we got a lot of people like that
Mhm.
in our
Mhm.
society. So it's like I can see where it gets frustrating when you're trying to spread the truth, but at the same time, you got to realize what's out there too.
Mhm.
And just know your audience, not your audience, but know the audience basically of the people that we all have to live with. They're
Mhm.
not all looking at the world in the right frame of mind. You know,
Yeah. It's true.
hmm
That's
I mean, that's why it's
exactly.
hard to spread the truth. And it's just it prepares you for the truth to be rejected. It doesn't prepare you for it. Because um, yeah, I mean, you talk to the average person. I mean, or talk to some of these people and ask them, What is it? What are your goals in life? What is this world? What's the reality of this world to you?" It'll probably spit out something that makes no sense. But so how would he expect to ever come to the conclusion of the truth if what he believes in already has makes no sense? You know, Trying to say it the best way I can, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people. We already see it's like slowly but surely they're getting to where uh, we're getting to where less people are have the ability to think critically. Like
Mhm.
Dr. Russell Blaylock said it best, man. It just less with high IQ or less understanding because we know that IQ doesn't really have to do with it. The test is not determining. You could have somebody with a 180, 200 IQ, and if you ask them about like the official story on something and they believe it, that brings up a red flag to me. How
Yeah.
accurate is the IQ test, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
And
you
their
just,
IQ might just be really specific to one area. It doesn't make them smart in other areas. It might be, they might be great at math, but other aspects, they could never be a tradesman. It wouldn't make any sense to them. So People have, like people have strength and abilities in certain areas and weaknesses in others. I don't think anybody has all, you know, comprehension of everything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think about some of the like look at They Live, the movie. It had a part where I think it took place in Southern California.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember, where he was
Uh,
working construction,
mm-hmm.
and there was a part where the police was used to assault the people out there and drive them away from the area they were at. And there was a church in the movie where I think that's where the resistance was. I don't know if you
I haven't seen the
remember.
movie in a long time. I'll be honest with you.
They have
Long
it for
time.
free, I think, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to check it out eventually again. Yeah. It's interesting they chose a church, it says something else.
Yeah, yeah,
Come
that's
on.
another. I mean, and there in that movie too, there's a lot of stuff where the preacher was a black man who was blind, and when Roddy was in the church and he found, I think, the glasses, or he was looking around, and the preacher came and grabbed him, and he started feeling his face because he couldn't see, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and then he felt his hands, and he was like, "Oh, you're a working man." So you can tell, because you can tell from usually from a guy's hands the type of employment he does.
Mm-hmm.
Carpenters and other things will have rougher hands. Depending, some guys just naturally have rough hands. Who knows? But usually it's a scale of thumb. Especially farmers and stuff. Unless they're wearing gloves most of the time. But it's hard to. You're not going to see a guy with soft hands that's working a job that has a hands-on type of thing.
No.
From what I've
Plus,
seen.
blind people have that extra sensory ability because, you lose one sense, but you gain maybe double in the others, like hearing and
Yeah,
touch and everything. Yeah.
yeah, because they could probably touch a person's hand or something, shake a hand, and know
Mm-hmm.
maybe from the force of the shake, texture
Which
of the
makes a lot of
skin.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but They Live, yeah, was set. Yeah, Southern California. Um, yeah, man, a lot of good stuff to look through, and to like recap, like you were saying, yeah, the thing being in the church, and then the resistance, the preacher. They Live has a lot of stuffs in it that's very, very deep. Like the Matrix is on. I mean, the Agent Smith stuff that we uncovered tonight was just off on another level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you were listening when Alexis and I were looking stuff up, and the name of the agents, the last names correlate to the plantation owners from early parts of the country.
Right.
And I didn't know until he told me. He goes, check out the wiki. And this professor, she's like a cinema, I don't know, analyst or something like that. Trying to see, I think I have. She should still be. Yeah, Nakamura, professor of media and cinema studies. How do you get employment doing something like that?
I don't know. Well, she got a dream job, that's for sure.
Right?
Yeah. Know the right people, I guess. That's the key to life. Get these jobs.
Mm-hmm. She has a BA from Reed College. So I guess that's a bachelor's, right?
Yeah, Bachelor's of Arts.
And graduated Graduate Center of the City University of New York.
Oh, right there.
The crazy thing is when this is her wiki page, you go to career and it says includes feminist theory, race, gender, and new media, film, television. Well, I guess I'd have to listen and see what she has to say. But the fact that she broke down the Matrix in the way she did, I was very shocked. I was like, wow, she's pretty. She's looking at it from a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
It has some stuff.
Yeah, who knows where they get these ideas from? You know, maybe like with some people speculate the music came from spiritual beings, some of the older music, maybe not now. You know, that the record labels were, that's what John Todd said, that they were demonic forces that actually created some of those rock and roll the lyrics. And who knows with these movies, what they're getting their inspiration from, you know, when they can get that deep. Is there something else behind the scenes going on to give them these ideas to write a movie like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that's yeah. When I look at the Matrix agents, that's what it is. It was Alexis was telling me about this thing, and she broke it down. She was like, everything. I mean, well, not just that in the Matrix, but in a lot of movies. You know, I would say it goes back pretty far. These secret meanings of yeah, we have some serious powers that I think there's something that we do that we don't know we can do, that yeah, that everything, like a lot of things are trying to distract us from seeing like a power that we have.
Mm.
Yeah, like, you know, it makes me wonder, like, because I've thought about it, like, why divine
Well, there's a
Jesus?
biblical version for that. It says, greater is what is in you than what is in the world. He that is in with you is greater than what is in the world."
Hmm.
They do actually refer to that, that we have something greater than this world that's in us. So,
Yeah, they have I was looking at some of these illusions. I know you like some of the different art.
Mhm.
Jake left a comment saying he wasn't sure if the brown tile on top was the same color as the orange tile on the side. But if he looks at this point, I'll let him know. Um, when you cover it with a shaded thing, but you leave holes for the two tiles, you'll see that they're both the same shade on the right.
Mm.
The optical illusion, yeah. It's almost unbelievable.
It is.
When I first saw this like a decade ago, I was like, I didn't understand it. When I
Mm-hmm.
looked at it in the regular picture like this,
Right.
I
Look
said,
like
what
two
do you
different
mean?
colors.
Yeah, so there's no way that's the same color.
Mm-hmm.
And then it tells you to cut out a piece of paper and cover it like on the right here. And then you see like, holy smokes. And the same thing with the gray, like the gray in this one with the two gold circles, any person would say, no, those two gray areas are totally different colors. But when you look at it closer, like on the right, when you connect them with the strip that's the same color, you see very close. And then with bars, you see it's exactly the same color.
Oh, I see. Was it because of a little shade on there? I don't know.
Well, it's the perception of the shadow, I think, is what throws it off. The
Oh, okay.
shadow coming off the cylinder,
Mm-hmm.
it changes the tone, but in contrast to the light square on the top, it has a totally different color. But it shows you how shadow and light can affect our perception. Like with this
Yes.
one here, the guy tore up the paper, but to give the angle when it's casted at a shadow with the light behind it, it looks like a guy sitting, the shadow of a guy sitting, which is, I mean, this is on another level
Mhm.
of artwork. Stuff like this, we see the lines are straight, but they look like they're bending like a little slanted.
Yeah, that's what I see in this picture right now.
If you look at the very bottom where the banner is,
Mm-hmm.
you notice the straight line above it, right? A little bit above it, like a millimeter or two.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that line, if you use that line as a guideline and look straight up going from that, every line is straight like that line. It's hard to see,
Jeez. Yeah. I'm looking at it on
but
my iPhone, not a computer. So.
the illusion,
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It's real.
Mm.
It's to say that line on the bottom that's straight is, if you go up, it looks like the line that's bending a little or
Right.
tilted, but it's exactly straight when you look at it in comparison to the straight banner that's going across the bottom. So you start to see, oh, that line is actually straight because that's why I lined it
Mm.
up in that way, to where you could see it. But then the one above it, now you start seeing the illusion look like the lines are tilted, when in actuality, none of them are tilted. They're exactly straight. And it's just like the
Jeez.
color. We got a color thing, the shadow thing. The this one here, of course, it's hard to see, but both with the X's, they're supposedly the same color. Um, they do them like here on the square and pillars, and the floor is flat, but the design makes it seem like it's not. So just again showing how, this one here is like one of my, I mean, this, whoever did this, I mean, this is just amazing. Fact that they could get that shadow to cast to look like that from shining it from above. Looks like two people. Uh, there's another one, ingenious lady's hair also looks like
Like another face. Yeah.
yeah, like the guy's yelling,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean,
That I see. Yeah.
yeah,
I saw that first before I recognized it was her hair when you said it. I was seeing two faces first. That's the first thing I saw.
wow. So they say what you see first,
Mm-hmm.
there's something about that. So maybe you saw the image, the shadow that it looks like she could be thinking of. Looks like a male face that's shouting.
Yeah, that's what I saw first. Why, you saw the hair first?
No, no, I saw her face. The first thing when I ever saw this, I looked at her face, the part with her.
Oh no,
Like,
I saw that other guy first, that other man yelling at her.
yeah, when I
That
looked at it, when I first saw it, I noticed her face. Then I looked and it looked like the hair, but it quickly changed into the guy. So it was like almost simultaneously.
hmm
But I did notice the face first before I noticed the hair. I mean, this is a very simple, but this is a I mean, art says a lot. I mean, this one too, it has the silhouette of a lady.
Hmm.
But the chair, yeah, the chair and the shadow. Yeah, I was looking at A lot of them, and just like the one we were looking at with the shadow with this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it makes us wonder, like, and this is why I had these here, like this one here, especially this one, how the guy must have used a piece of paper and bent it in a way to where when a light is reflected, when the light is shown downward, it casts a shadow of looks like two people holding the paper, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like, holding something.
And it makes me wonder when
And it looks
looking
like
at,
a man and woman too.
yeah, exactly. So it makes me wonder about what we were saying about the dimension, the third dimension is casting a shadow that looks like people
Right.
that are two-dimensional. So like how you were saying, the fourth dimension could be casting the shadow of us here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it had me thinking of that. T-Raf, brother, thank you for thank you, bro, for the support. He says, T-Raf says, learned a lot from you, MD. Respect. Thank you, brother. Respect to you, bro, and thank you for the support, man. T-Raf, been around for a while, chilling. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the knowledge. Mr. Rex is helping me with this. I appreciate that too, man. You're definitely you're keeping the awareness. See, this shows people how when even just two, three, a couple of people talk about topics like this, the the it's like the wisdom sphere gets very
Yes.
strong. Yeah, and we start to
Mhm.
we're able to see things that working together in a conversation that goes beyond any type of debate or anything over a topic, or those things actually aren't as comfortable. It's not as comfortable, and I don't think people progress because it's just based on a one or other scenario instead of growing and saying, hey, this is uh this is some very odd stuff that we're in.
Exactly. Exactly. I appreciate the fact that, I can be of support because, that's what I'm here for the knowledge, and it hasn't been disappointing.
Yeah, man. And what you asked earlier with the human origin thing, yeah, there is a few one um like I had mentioned earlier, the the observation of things that can't just form by accident,
Mhm.
and it just opens not totally to something that is, where somebody might have an answer to it. It's just saying it opens the door a little bit for the truth to come in, and not to say it's the truth, but to just wait there and see if anybody notice. Because that's how a lot of inventions have been made. And I mentioned that in the preface of the book, where I talk about Alexander Fleming with penicillin. He left the petri dish uncovered and it started growing. And when he came back from vacation, that's how he noticed it, documented it. So, yeah, T-Ref says, a lot of the time I'm busy at night, but I usually watch your show while I'm working. I've got my headphone ins, and thanks, man. Definitely. Yeah, man. It's some people tell me that the longer shows they'll just listen to it throughout the night. Darkest Night used to be really yeah, he used to tell me about that, man. I appreciate it, man. I really do, man. Yeah, I mean, X and we have some pretty good conversations, man, about existence and the genetics of humans. The more I look at it, the more it's, it makes it's not even an argument. It presents the evidence to points where I think we had said earlier, sometimes the truth is not gonna affect some people because it just doesn't matter to them. So
You know.
at that point, and this is something we we look at saying, yeah, that it's nothing against that person. It's to say, okay, they're just not ready for the truth at that moment. And that's okay. That's maturity on our part to be able to see that, to say, okay, and how to understand that this person sometimes, and a lot of times I've noticed this with people that have very strong beliefs, sometimes they can't accept the fact that people don't agree with their belief. So the cool people are the ones that have belief and like, hey, you know what? Um, if you don't, especially like a lot of religious or evolution is religious too. If you don't believe the exact strain of religion or denomination, that you're lost or something. But they're like, hey, it's cool. So they do their thing. Then you got the other ones that are just very zombie. They try to convert and stuff like that and convince people why their religion is true. So the two differences there exist to where one is cool, the other one can be pushy to a point, and then you get, of course, the ones that are just off the handle, and that's where we see how um, mental programs can affect people in different ways. But for the majority of it, we do see people, thank goodness, living in a cool way. Divine Hazel says, "This time of night is my day, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you too. Thank you for being here. That's so nice. Yeah, I definitely think about existence, and I wonder why. Uh, like with some of the older fantasy movies, they're great. I never watched a lot as a kid. I got to watch some, but not a lot. But when I look at it now, I just don't see that level of fantasy or mental imagination, like type of stuff, which I would like to. I don't know if you ever saw the Never Ending Story.
No, I never seen that movie. I heard of it, but I never saw it.
Yeah, I never saw the whole thing. I know I saw a good few parts, but it had to deal with like the nothing. And then when I saw something else of one, he's a physicist, Richard Feynman,
Hmm.
and he's from the atomic tests and stuff. One of the more relaxed and open guys that he always said that, hey, if you just study, he didn't he had like a regular, I think he had like a 125 IQ or something, and he said, look, he goes, he's not exceptionally up there, but he studied, and he was very, very laid back in saying that, look, we don't know what a lot of things are. And he was very he, even with the electron, I think he was saying that it is a theory. It's a persistent theory, though. It's a theory so strong that you can build things on it. But
Hmm.
again, unless you know atomic building or physics, you can't confirm it. So that's the hard part, because somebody could be pulling the magician thing on you too. And meanwhile, it's like they're not really, like trying to turn some element into something else. But if you don't know how it's being done, there could be a switch up. There could be all type of stuff.
Hmm. And I think these illusions that you're showing are the best way to call them, or trick the eye. It's important because that's the only way to train yourself so that, like when in that I remember clips of that movie, They Live, he'd see signs saying something completely different than what the rest of the people were seeing. The advertisements that were out there. He'd see something totally different. So it's like when you can look at secret words or these illusions, you might be, after a while, you might start getting good at spotting what to look for, you know, some of the signs so that you're not fooled. It'd be just like putting on those glasses that they live and seeing the wording on the billboard saying something completely different. You know,
Imagine seeing something like that, like how he found a pair of glasses, put it on, and started seeing through the illusion. Like, and you know what was good about it? The way it made it to where it was realistic in a sense of being able to look at an advertisement, how they do have things where if you look at it through a certain lens, you can see something that you wouldn't normally see.
right?
Like, how would you react if you happen to just say you were looking at sunglasses at a you know, those little stands that have the glasses,
Hmm.
and you put it on and you turned and you looked and you're like, holy smokes. And it's only that particular pair. So it's as if somebody left it there or something. What would you like kind of think?
It'd be exciting. Um, you know, I'd be very excited to have those kind of glasses. Uh,
Would you buy them?
sure, I probably would. Yeah, depending on the price, of course. But yeah, I probably would. I
Say
want
they
to
were
have
like
glasses like that.
$40 maybe.
Oh yeah, I take them. Sure, sure. Why not? Maybe be able to help me. Maybe I can spot clues that I would never have seen before. You know, sending out a message. I do believe that in some of these movies, of course, everybody can watch a movie and have a different interpretation. That's absolutely true. But I think sometimes there's codes in these movies or messages that only a select few of people can understand. It's like a warning about something coming up, that only select people can really understand. Because this network might have, most likely has different levels. You got people at the way top who have far more access to information, far more power than people who are also in the network, but they're at a lower level. But those people at the lower level of the network get informed through maybe some of these movies that the general population wouldn't even know about. So I think that's why they code some messages in there. Like I said, that Iron Man 2 with Elon Musk, that was a clear message that Elon Musk is going to be the next real life Iron Man. Buy Tesla stock right now. You'll become rich. People who could interpret that would know it would be seeing a totally different movie.
Elon Musk was in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I believe it was Iron Man 2. It was the scene where they were in France, I think in I can't remember, Monte Carlo or Nice, and Tony Stark just shakes his hand. I mean, you can actually look on YouTube and Elon Musk, Iron Man. They'll probably have the scene right there. It's a quick scene. It's a very fast scene. He shakes his hands. Hi, how you doing, Tony? And then that's it. It's in the beginning of the movie too. And this was Tesla stock was trading at $1 something a share. It just started out. Coincidence? I don't think so. I do not think so. So I think that was a message to some people like, here's the guy, here's the stock. This is the next big thing coming out. And I have heard other stories. Like I remember with Facebook, there was a lady I knew, and this was when MySpace was the big thing. And I'd never even heard of Facebook, but she told me I'm working for this guy, and he's telling me the next huge thing is going to be Facebook. That's what she told me. And this was when MySpace dominated.
And when was this? Like 04?
This was maybe before 2010. I can't remember the exact date, but it was
Because I
maybe
remember when I first,
2005. I think around that mid 2000s.
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah, 2005 would be in the range because I think Facebook got big in like 07, 08.
Yeah, this was right before it took off.
But yeah, in 04, I think is when I first got onto MySpace. And it was definitely social media. Facebook, I think, got big because of the college thing and using the real names. Even though at first, the people from MySpace, you didn't have to use your real name. So it just, when Facebook came around, it's, people were like,
Okay.
they wanted to find other people. So like people they went to college with, like I found people that I was in the military with found me through an old Facebook that I can't get into. If I could, it would be great because then I could see the messages if anybody sent it to me. But I did get in touch with a few people. I remember when I had it back around, I think it was around '09, '10, maybe. Definitely around, I think, between those years up to 2012. And then I forgot the email, and, I just didn't mess with it. But I had a couple of pages, and then I had another account that a friend and I used to use because we had different pages on there. I mean, Facebook, I guess it turned into Instagram, I guess, A lot of people are
Yeah, just give me a couple minutes, MD. I'll be right back.
yeah. Yeah, it takes time. Yeah, so it kind of yeah, social media back then, honestly, I think that was the golden age. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, Divine Hazel. Yeah, I did hear about some stuff with the lead, and yeah, different levels of understanding. Yeah, different levels. Yeah, there's so much. There's so much to learn going through a conscious existence, because then you start to not just stop and question, but more like think and be aware of the flowing moment, conscious. And that's something that, if looked at deeply, has a very calming effect, has an effect. To me, it has an effect to where I kind of get a sense of purpose of just being, if that's kind of understandable. Like being, just the purpose of being, just saying, wow, I'm here, I'm being. It's not more of what am I doing, it's more of I'm just being. It's like thinking, all right, I can create stuff, and I'm continuing to create stuff, the human origin stuff, and I'm learning so much from other people and their views, and how to discern the best part of those views, and to put them together and to say, okay, why are these the best parts? What makes something the best? Or better yet, the word would be beneficial. That can be understood a lot easier. So is it beneficial? Yes. We see the effect. How do we know it's beneficial? The effects it produces. Discipline of things that are good for us show us positive results when we do them in the proper fashion. So there's a lot of that with improving through discipline, because again, like the Alan Watt thing, there's the power in not improving, and not saying that you're going backwards, you're stopping anything, but just going along with your routine, which you will improve, or at the least maintain, which that's what some philosophers talk about, being able to maintain. Because if you don't, you're always going to be like slipping down. It's like you're not on level ground. So, and life is kind of like that because of the finite physical time, which makes it so. Once, I think there's times, yeah, when I was younger, I realized it, but once people get in touch with that, there comes such a value to time, that it's a whole different world. Everything seems different at that point. To say, wow, time is extremely different now. It's something like, people will have things from their past that will end up being worth a lot of money. But time, when you get older, time seems to, well, really not just older, once you become aware of it, because you could become aware of it at a young age, in your teens or in your 20s. It may be about maturity, or really like a type of maturity that goes beyond regular societal, what society would define as maturity, with more of like a realistic, because farming to me is maturity, to understand that we have to farm, even though I'm not a farmer, but my grandfather was one of them. And it just, it shows me farmers in America. It's like all throughout America, you see that that's where food comes from. These people have farms. It's a business, but yeah, it's a farm. It's like, this is how we eat. And to know, to have at least some type of closeness with that, to say, okay, this is how we get the nourishment for our physical body. Yeah, there's a lot of disputes and stuff with some people would say, oh, this diet or that diet. Well, okay, just a healthy, clean diet. Because again, you're better off eating healthy, clean meat over processed vegan. Clean, whole food vegan, okay, that's good. I don't think there's one diet for somebody for the rest of their life, but I know Drew would challenge that. I mean, Drew actually has he's an excellent nutritionist, and he knows a lot about the body. So I learn a lot when I speak with him. I have to admit, hopefully he'll start up his radio show again.
Drew, he had his own show. Drew Ma.
Yeah, he had when I first met him. He had a show on Blog Talk Radio. It was like 2011, because I had a YouTube channel from 06, another channel, the one that I originally had, where I used to do just like knowledge videos. I would talk about archaeology a little. I would talk about language, and like geography and stuff, and schooling.
So wisdom was your original. It wasn't the dating stuff. It was actually, this was the original.
Yeah, it wasn't totally like how Wisdom Radio is. It was more like, and I still have the channel. I think it's still got like around 2,000 subs or something, over 2,000. So if I decide to do something different, like a news channel, I was going to do, where I talk about like health stuff, where
but this was your passion. It was never the dating. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was my first passion, and that's where Scribe, being that he met me in the other field, he feels that way. And I told him, I said, well, you don't understand that. Okay, yeah, we did meet when I had the other thing, but that's not where I originally was at. And it's still, I understand. Okay, yeah, I could always go back into that, but that would require it. Yeah, it's not a place that I don't see too much of like it's kind of like I gave the analogy that where it's like you can't help everyone. You can't help everyone, and sometimes it's like I do feel happier with the knowledge. I think the human origins thing is more important, because especially at this time, like we already know because of our generation, that if this was the 80s or 90s or the early 2000s, it would be still kind of different, because now it's like at a point where the procreation thing is at that limit, to where, okay, the sperm count is dropping from, according to studies, in my opinion, people can look it up. The relationship thing is like just a ship that's been crashed, to where social media and all of that has just totally I mean, I don't know what's it turned it into, but it has really affected it, to where the Brave New World type of stuff scenario, it's open, to where especially with the technology too of the in vitro fertilization. I mean, people don't realize the leaps and strides that have been made in these areas while everything has seemed to be quiet, but it's there. It's a Gattaca. It's a very Gattaca type of thing.
Yes, that's
So
true.
yeah, exactly. So like putting the movies together to say, wow, not just The Matrix, but like Gattaca, other movies, Soylent Green, which is not really, you look at it, you want it to be a better movie than Soylent Green, but Soylent Green is what it is.
And
Soylent Green is the Omega Man is another one. So
well,
the
speaking of the dating, I could comment on that real quick because
yeah. Mhm.
I was talking to my daughter recently, and she brought this up. I didn't even bring it up, but she brought it up. She's like, it's true what you said about most guys can't get their female equivalent nowadays. And she's like, unless a guy has money or there's a purpose behind it, meaning that he's financially better off and can support the woman. It's like there's really no purpose to even be with a guy anymore. So it's like or a lot of her friends feel that way too. Like if they can't find a guy that is superior, and there's just no point because they're really not that attractive to begin with. And it's that's the female perspective, and I think that applies to a lot of women out there. That's why things are so bad. Like what you were just saying earlier, how it's become like Gattaca, because it's like the fertility clinics. I mean, they can have their kids, and if they're the ones that who are the breadwinners, like what the hell do they need a man for?
Well,
And that
also, I
seems.
think I think the electronics, like when you have people addicted to, like, look at the World of Warcraft video games. A
Hmm.
lot of guys were saying that it destroyed marriages. Like this woman started a whole thing about wives against Warcraft because
Hmm.
the husbands, she was married for 6 years, and she said when he got it, that was it. He wouldn't come to bed. And like every time he came to bed, like it killed any type of sex life or whatever they had. Now, these people were not uh you know like your average couple that I guess would be younger, a lot of sex. They seem to be in their 30s or 40s. And the Warcraft, the addiction to the video game, wanting to be in that, actually had men not really caring about sex as much as they did the game. Now,
Hmm.
this is more than just a study. We've seen, I mean, the lady started a website. Anybody can look it up. A friend of mine said I remember he broke up with a girl he was with and then got back together with her. And he told me, I said, what happened when you guys broke up? And he told me he was playing World of Warcraft. I said, get out of here. And he was like, he goes, yeah. I said, so wait, so what are you? And he was the one that explained it to me. I said, wait a minute. So what were you telling me? He goes, well, we used to go out to dinner and stuff. And he goes, I didn't want to go out. He goes, he just wanted to play the game. I said, you gotta be kid. He goes, look, man. He goes, I was happier. And this girl was decent looking, this girl he was with.
Okay. That was
And
my
he
next
goes,
question. Was the girl something to look at? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
no, she was
'Cause-
actually, I would say
Mhm.
she was above average.
Okay.
So to some guys, I would say she's upper echelon. She was
Mhm.
like definitely, uh, she was a decent looking girl, like definitely above an average. She wasn't sub. And she was petite and all of that stuff and everything. So he goes, yeah, man. She started going out with another guy, and he didn't even care. And I forgot how he eventually kind of like stopped playing it or something. I guess maybe he started missing her, and he said that he they got back together, and that's when when I met them, they were getting back together because he was with somebody else, and she was cool, but this other girl, I don't know, this other girl was cuter, but the fact that I was like, wow, so that's why you guys broke up. And he goes, yeah. He goes, he couldn't stop. He goes, he didn't want to go out no more. He goes, he didn't even want to smash really. He goes, he did want to smash, but that was it. It was like, okay, now let me play the game. And
Mm.
then I've talked to other people with that, to where that has happened. So that electronic thing of how it affect the men are affecting women as well. to where
Yeah.
if they're looking on their thing and they put a picture up and they get 1,000 people liking it. I remember one chick, she was a cute girl, and she put a picture up. I forgot what site it was. My friend Al was telling me, and I showed him. I said, "Look, she got." It was like almost. It was 9,000, like 900 something likes in a day.
Wow. In a day.
And he didn't know because Al is older, and he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Nah." I said, "Look, man." I said, "You don't understand how much that is because this other girl, um, Anna, she has a social media with like 5,000 on, and she's a cute little chick, but she's kind of now she's like 30 something, and she's kind of been of around, so the wear and tear, she's still got the petite, but time time ain't no joke, man.
No.
Time ain't no joke, and we already know that for some people, it is what it is, but uh yeah, I definitely see yeah, and having divine A's.
What do you say?
She says having kids doesn't improve relationships. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Metropolis. This is a deep movie. This is a deep movie. Christopher, good to see you, man. He says, I know a lot of men who prefer the Xbox over wife. Maybe they both got bored. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff with that. Coco Bongo. You were right about the symbols and demon on money bills. They use a microscope on some bills. Yeah, there are definitely some stuff, some symbols. Yeah, they live, bro. They live. What is an epic movie, man. I mean, the stuff with They Live is just on a level where it's like, yeah, it's definitely yeah, I had I thought, yeah, because I had showed the illusions, but I don't know if you were on that one. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got to see him now, the shadow and stuff.
Those are
Because
great.
yeah, because I think it's like, would something be casted into the third dimension if this is, and this one here is the one that, because it's sort of like saying, wow, that piece of paper that definitely can be seen better in the one here with the sitting. You see the paper,
Yeah.
I guess it was glued to the wall and then curved in a certain way, or
Now I'm
maybe
missing something about this. I'm looking at my iPhone. Let me see. What am I? Because I see the guy sitting on looks like a chair on the left, and the
yes. Now
right
on
is
the
supposed
right,
to be what again?
the right is somebody behind. It's the picture of that left picture from behind it at an angle.
Oh, okay.
So it's showing you that that picture on the left is a shadow casted from the light that is projected from behind, from the left. The picture on the
Oh.
left, the light is below it, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the left. So the picture on the left has the light below it to the left, casting the shadow to the right of the chair, the upper right, which
Okay.
casts the shadow of a guy, right? Now, on
Right.
the right picture shows the bent pieces of, I guess, paper or material that's bent in a way to where when the light is shown, that it casts the shadow of a guy. Do, do
Okay.
you
Gotcha.
do you kind of
Gotcha.
understand? Yeah.
Yeah, because it looked like a guy too on the other,
Right? Isn't that
the
some
right hand
crazy
side.
stuff?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. It's like when you look at this, this is so off the Richter scale that paper casts the shadow that the guy bent it in a certain position. And then I looked at this one. This is the one where he did it from the top, or another artist did, and it's bent and it's casting the shadow of the people holding the it's just this is just off the Richter scale. This is like holy smokes. When I think about this, it's like how
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it makes me wonder. I mean, when I think about it, it's just the this one is kind of ordinary, but this is a tough picture because it's made with blocks, I guess, that was put on the wall. On the left is the
Oh,
picture.
okay. Gotcha. And it's
Yeah.
casted a woman.
Yeah, exactly. And the light, it comes from the right. So the big picture is to the right, and then a close up is on the left.
Yeah. That's amazing that they're able to do that, arrange the
Yeah.
blocks a certain way, and then it casts
Right.
really a
And then
perfect shadow of a woman.
it's like just amazing. Art is really some amazing stuff.
Hmm.
Art is some amazing. I mean, the color, the illusion, the straight lines. When they're, they look like they're bending. It
But it
just
shows you
it
something
really,
about light too, doesn't it? I mean, if light
yeah,
is angled
yeah.
a certain
Understanding
way,
light. Yeah, exactly. How? It's kind of like Christopher says, what kind of mind knows how to manipulate light and objects? Like, I mean, it is
yeah, I agree.
amazing. Yeah, it really makes me wonder. Yeah, it really, really does. It's like, I thought about that with the lines, even like this picture here. It's like it looks totally like the lines veer and tilt. And if
It
you put a
does.
paper to it, if you put like a straight piece of paper, and you'll see, boom, it'll line up like the bottom line. Every line will be straight, just like that.
Yeah.
And just like, holy smokes, the visual, yeah, it's on another level.
So
Yeah,
sometimes we can't trust what we see. What we
yeah,
see might not be what's really there.
yeah.
Yeah, like the subliminal messaging and so forth. It's just, we might, our subconscious might be seeing something totally different than what our conscious mind is seeing or what we think we're seeing, and
Yeah.
how does it affect us? Well, it affects our subconscious because it sees it. And
Hmm.
there's something about it that really bothers it, or is interpreting it a different way, whether it be positive or negative.
Hmm.
And it is affecting us. We just don't know it's affecting us.
Yeah.
Maybe to purchase more goods and services out there, consumerism and so forth. Like, why do I feel I need to buy this now? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. The consumerism thing, and that's a serious mental manipulation device.
Hmm.
Where, yeah, people just, yeah, the consumerism thing. I mean, we feel it. And that's the thing. That we're so detached, and it's hard to grow food. It's hard. I mean,
It
we
is.
definitely, yeah, you ain't gonna grow everything you need. You're lucky if you can grow half, if
Yeah.
that. There is a
Yeah.
family in California. They have like a YouTube video, but I remember seeing it on like a television show decades ago of a family that have, it's an area, it's not really that big. It's like half an acre at best. And they grow enough for like a family of like five or six and have food to sell. Like they had like chickens with little coops and stuff, and they would be
Hmm.
selling eggs, and they were showing how they do it. And I was like, wow. I said, that's some amazing stuff that for a family, everybody worked together. Um, and now forget it. The videos are just, it's crazy the amount of videos, but it is tough because you have so much technology around, but it's important because it's what you eat, and what you eat determines how you feel and how you act. And I think a lot to do with denatured foods get people to act in denatured ways.
Oh, I agree.
Processed foods gets people to act processed. And like if you pick apples from a tree or lemons or something, they're going to be different sizes. They're not going to be the same size. And they take these fruits that are different sizes and they try to sell them to farmers markets to be sold as like odds and ends. And they take the ones that are very similar in size, and those go to the supermarket.
Yeah.
So do people eating fruits at supermarkets that are specifically made to be the same size, organized, in line, grown mono agriculture, so just one food at a time, would it produce people that would get into line easier, that would take to the program. Like, say, in school, we had to walk single file against the wall. And, we're like in kindergarten or first grade or something,
Yeah.
and in second grade and third grade. And I always remember that wasn't fun.
No, me neither. Yeah.
Subliminal messages to push consumerism. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we only see a very small percentage of what's in front of our eyes. Absolutely. It's like when we look at, there's other ways to see things, like how the words have those hidden messages within them. That's why when we look at these items and these art, that's another beautiful thing about art, is when you look at it, you start to be like, oh, okay, I see. Like when we looked at this, we see her hair, the hairstyle ingeniously looks like her hairstyle, but it also looks exactly like the silhouette of a man
Yelling
yelling.
at her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's actually the first thing I saw. Yeah, I mentioned that already. But yeah, it looks like he's just yelling at her, angry almost.
Hmm.
And she's
Yep.
just taking it, you know.
Yeah.
She has her
And she's
eyes
like
closed.
thinking or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like she's just bowing down to the man who's barking
Like
orders at her.
just, it's like just tired of hearing the nagging and stuff. Or,
Right.
yeah, just something is, Christopher says he was insulted when in a factory you would work to the bell, not out of school long. Yeah, the factory. I remember when I worked at this factory, I was 15, and I have to admit it was grueling because it was like in a dull factory in the middle of nowhere at Kings Park, and but it was in a way, it was better than school. Like my school, yeah, yeah, school was whack too. Yeah, it just,
I remember dreaming of that 3 o'clock, watching for the three
oh
o'clock.
man,
A
I tell
minute
you,
goes by. Oh,
yeah, time would
then you're
go so
free.
slow back then.
It
And
would.
that's the thing. It's like we look at it now, time is flying. And
Yeah.
it's like back then it was like I look back at that now and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so like I think about it and I wish I could experience somehow. I mean, uh, I guess thinking about it is a form of time travel. But when you think about just the time, school was yeah, horrible. It just but the time of going back, like when we're younger, like there was a song, and I think the hook line was, "Can it be that it was all so simple then?" And it really does seem like when I look back and I say, "Wow, technology, it moved extremely quick."
It did.
I mean, just the jump is just ridiculous. It's on a level where it's just like, holy smokes.
Like the other day, I was watching a YouTube video. You remember the show, The Love Boat, way back when?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and it's just like, the whole, yeah, of course it's just a show, but, the mentality of back then is so different, like the way they made the show and the way people talked and act. And it's nothing like it is today. It was like, it was a simpler time, I guess you could say. It was just a different, it was a whole, people were different. It was a whole different vibe. And I think it has more to do with the change of environment, the change of our lifestyle, you know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're not the same group, and not that it's anybody's fault, or that it's just the world has changed completely. And we're like slaves to the technology right now. That's the way we've ended up. But yeah, it's just interesting to see, because people, maybe younger people, can look at those shows and see what life was like without the cell phone, prior to the internet and everything. How's people actually interacted with each other, more often than they do now, I guess you could say.
Yeah, homosapien.com. That's what they said it's moving into.
Hmm.
Yeah, homosapien.com. People are ready to, you have people, and I'm surprised they either haven't done promos on this, but people just eating the digitally printed foods and stuff like
Oh
that.
my goodness. Yeah.
It just I that's what I mean, that's some straight Logan's Run, um, Space Odyssey, just yeah, yeah, it really makes you wonder. It really, really makes it just the stuff that there's a good side to it, and then there's the other side. So we do see, yeah, how it can be used to where we're in a paradise, or they have it to where it's the two different, the dystopia or the Jetsons.
Hmm.
So we have Star Trek or you know Blade Runner or something like that. So it's like because they always I noticed that they changed the movies to the bright, beautiful, futuristic movie um to the dystopia. Yeah, the 70s and the 80s were beautiful, man. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. As a child, I was like,
Yes.
man, it was just yeah, child. It was simpler. It was so it just some and also the vibe of the music itself was just softer and cooler. It just came out of a really had a cool time. And nothing against other people's generations. The 80s, 90s, 2000s, cool generations. But yeah, yeah, it really technology always seems to yeah, it's a double the technological. I remember when I went on Drew's show because he used to have the Blog Talk Radio show, and when I had the other YouTube channel, that I this guy contacted me and he asked me to do an interview on his channel because I had my channel with the videos and all of that, showed him the maps, and I'd be teaching on geography. But he we talked on his blog talk in 2010. And then I think Drew, I must have met him around 2011, no later than 2012. And then I think that's around when Google bought uh, YouTube. So I went
Yeah.
over to Blog Talk for a little. I was still on YouTube, but not a lot. And then I think in 2016, that's when I came back and I did some archaeology thing. And then uh, I think I still have that channel too, but it doesn't have a lot, just a couple of hundred subs. And then I came and I did the Smash channel. I think I started it around 2018, and
Hmm.
then started doing the lives in 2020. But yeah, yeah, it's
But I think this is unavoidable with technology because it's going to get so advanced that it's going to know us so well based on our research and, everything we Googled. It's going to database everything, algorithms, and it's going to know what we want before it's going to know all of our interests, all of our triggers that we're excited to hear about. And that's all it takes. It's we see the beginning stages now. You watch a video, and then before you know it, you're getting recommendations for other videos that are similar. And yeah, it's kind of unavoidable, but it is what it is. We're not here to meant to be forever anyway. So I don't sweat it. We're only here for a blip of time, and then that's it. But yeah, yeah, it's definitely
what makes me wonder about that question about being here. It makes that question, I think, a little more important, right? Like saying, okay, so what
true.
are we really here for? I don't think it's to be over entertained, maybe,
No, no, I'd agree with that. That's where, one could say a religious aspect comes into it, the faith based
Yeah,
about who we are, where we came from, and what's our purpose.
yeah,
Uh, from a biblical point of view, our purpose is to help out others
yeah,
who are less
yeah,
fortunate. That's really what our purpose is.
Hmm.
We don't get a
No, I hear you.
reward until the next life, which would make sense. I mean, people can say, "No, this is my life. I'm going to make the most of it here and now." No, that doesn't work because you can't guarantee you're going to be here tomorrow. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I
yeah,
can't guarantee it. None of us can. So to say this is
exactly.
going to be your best life is stupid because you don't know where you're going to end up, each day. It just takes one little thing to go wrong and you're gone, you know? You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Something happens and that's it. So yeah, saying that you want to make this life the best life is nonsense. You should live day to day, and you should try to strive and achieve. Don't get me wrong about that, but at the end of the day, you really don't control things. So
Yeah, man. Azarun, brother, thank you for the support, bro. Azarun says they warned us about the dangers of consumerism. Absolutely, bro.
wow,
I
good point.
appreciate that, man. Did you have anything you want to say, Azarun?
Yeah, I'm right now in the middle of traffic. I just came to say hi, MD. That's all. Like the show was great, so I just came out of a place I'd gone to. So right now there's some traffic over here. I'll try to come back again because I need to go. But I came to say hi to you and Mr. X.
Okay.
Good to see you,
Thank you.
Asmaroon.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, people lived in the moment, man. Before the cell phone. Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man. I miss it. I kind of miss it.
but
But
imagine if they could create a scenario, virtual world where you can go back to it. You, you know what I mean? That's what I say to say you're going to avoid all this technology. I don't think that's possible. I don't. I really don't believe that.
I mean, when we
Not
look
you
at,
personally, but anybody who says that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, we can't. It's funny because we don't have a say. They're going to move forward regardless what we say.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's like I have to admit that okay, if it was the push button cell phone and you had to use a computer to do like the stuff that you know like most people do on the felt phone now. I
Hmm.
think it's the extension of the computer stuff to the phone that just put it on like a steroids, like an overload.
Yeah.
Because if it was just the push button phone and the text, it'd be a little different, or maybe the pictures.
Mm.
But now, and not saying that I mean, it has its purpose without a doubt,
Sure.
but we know that it's going to go right into. It's probably already. I don't see why people aren't already implanted that we just don't know about it.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. 100%. There probably are people who are implanted that have no clue they are. There's no question about it. And it's like, I could say it, I don't want people to take things the wrong way because I think technology is going to cost a lot of people a lot of jobs. Unless they're going to come up with the universal income, things are going to get pretty tough for the average person. Um, a friend of a coworker of mine, he called me up and he said, "Oh yeah, I saw this driverless car. I was driving down the street. Driverless car passed by me. It was delivering food, and a robot comes out and delivers it." I don't know. I hadn't heard about the robot, but I know about the driverless cars. So it's like, yeah, where are the jobs going to be? Yeah, I mean, so by no means am I saying it's positive. I'm not implying that. It just is. That's my whole point of view. It's not pro or against. It's just like I call it like I see it, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This it really does. It's like people when the technology. Yeah, Mark's right too, man. It increased. It increased communication, but it's like the opposite effect had happened, where
Yes.
people isolated themselves.
Hmm.
People who are 20 years old don't even don't have a clue about life without a phone. You're right, man.
It's
Exorcism
true.
AI.
You
Oh
better
my
believe it.
goodness. I think that's Blend.
That
Yeah,
includes me
man.
too, even as an older person. Honestly, the phone, if I lose it, I'm freaking out. You know what I mean? Because I'm so dependent on it. you know,
Hmm.
call me a zombie. Yeah, I'm part zombie. I admit that. But at the same time, in the '80s, we never could have had these conversations like we're having right now. So there's good and bad and everything. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. I think this is Blend, right? Blend. Exorcism AI says they would look at us as old people, as Flintstones. Yeah, man. Definitely Gen Xers and Millennial.
Hmm.
That's the one that comes after us, right?
Oh my goodness. Well, we're Generation X, and I guess Yeah, it is millenn. I'm guessing. I'm really guessing at this point. Um,
I think
but
Scribe is borderline. You, me, A. Patterson, and maybe one or two others are Gen X. Scribe's Gen X, but he's like right on the cusp of
hmm
Gen X, and I guess it's Millennial is the next one.
and I think we had it the best, personally. We got to
Yeah.
be young without the technology, and there was no wars. We weren't getting drafted to Vietnam, when we hit 19, so we avoided that. And the '80s were a blast, so were the '90s. So I think we had it perfectly. And now that all this technology is taking over, but guess what? We're older now, and no big deal. I'm not a young man. I don't need to go out every night or anything like that and party like I did in my youth. Those days are kind of over for me, you know. As the older I get, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I can easily see myself getting into a routine of like these. You see these older people wake up really early in the morning, go for walks. It's like, yeah, now I get it. Now I get it because that would be me for sure, and
Yeah, I
going to
definitely
bed
see.
early.
I mean,
Hmm.
if it's a nice area, yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Nice
yeah, I know you know.
weather, nice area,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm in Florida, so it's different. Yeah, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. That routine that
Yeah, too
when
much
you're
traffic.
younger.
Yeah. I like the country more.
Sure. That's
But
why,
yeah.
everything, this world, as long as we're in it, this physical realm, this may seem materialistic and superficial, but it's all about money. Because to
Mhm.
live the lifestyle you want while you're here requires money. There's no way around it. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, you can live in a tent, like some of these, like a homeless person does, but that's not really a life, And that's not a life I'd want. That's why I work. But yeah, it's just I call it like I see it, But that's why the next life probably is money is not that is irrelevant at that point. It's just here in this physical realm and it controls us too.
Mhm.
Uh, if you want to have a rebellion, like I hear people say, "Oh, the people who rebel." It's like, wait a minute. If you want an army, that costs a lot of money. You got to weaponize them. You got to have health care in case they get sick. You got to feed them. You know, it's more about just being angry to have a military operation. Plus, you have to have sophisticated weapons too. You saw what
Yeah.
happened in Venezuela. It took 2 seconds. Because advanced
Mhm.
weaponry. It's not like the old days anymore. The soldiers probably play a completely different role now um, than they did. 50 years ago. Of course, certainly World War II.
Mhm.
Technology changing everything. I mean, eventually they'll have robots that can go out there. I wouldn't be surprised. Drones and everything. They already have drones, of course. But robots will go out there and do the scouting.
The amount of robots that are probably going to be around very soon is seemingly frightening.
I agree.
When I don't know if you've looked at the videos at what some of them can do, even just a few years ago.
No, I
Yeah,
have the
man.
Boston Dynamics you're talking about, and some of the Elon Musk with he's the only one that has a robot that has artificial intelligence built in, I guess, that can learn on its own. The Elon Musk robot. But yeah, I've watched quite a few videos
Mhm.
on them. It's amazing.
Yeah, the 80s was a great decade, man. XAI says 80s baby.
Yeah. Oh, he was born in the 80s. Okay. But he didn't experience it as a teenager like we did.
Yeah, the teenager stuff. Yeah, 80s were great, man. 80s were, yeah, definitely some beautiful yeah, the phone has, I mean, with the buttons where you can call somebody, I see where that limit right there, it would have kept it at even to where it would still been more social.
Mhm.
Once you have the screen brought it to the next level.
Yes.
I mean, people, they just I robot.
Mhm.
Yeah. The screen brought it to the next level. Isolation physically shrinks. Good to see you, EC. Um, the memory centers thins the prefrontal cortex, increasing activity in fear, stress areas, raising stress hormones and disruptive. Wow. Well, what isn't some isolation necessary though? They want us anxious and
Mhm.
separated. But neocortex.
Well, I
Wow.
really believe, I mean, that sickness thing that happened, 5, 6 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I really feel, can't pinpoint it or really probably describe it accurately, but it just dramatically changed the whole world. The world was never the same. Even though we've gotten past it now, it was never the same as it was before. Something really changed.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like the second step after 9/11. When
Yeah.
9/11 happened, it changed, but it was nothing like the change we saw with this thing. This
Yeah.
another level. But 9/11 shook up people a lot. It set the stage. I mean, like it was messed up because that was right at the beginning. Within like 2 years was the beginning of the golden age of the internet. It
Hmm.
might have been from like about '02 to like maybe maybe to 2014 maybe.
Hmm.
So yeah, like around there. Then it started getting to where, I mean, it's still good, but those that 10 year was like a west, like 12 years from 2012 to 2014, 22 to 2002 to 2014 was very. I mean, MySpace was really open too. It was cool, but now, I mean, now there's the technology now that anybody can be a radio host or have a show, author books and stuff like that, even though they do have to write something decent. But the fact that they don't have to go through a company that forces them to, take a deal or something. I mean, yeah, okay, you're giving up some percentage without a doubt, selling on Amazon, whatever. But
Hmm.
um, the fact that you don't have to like really wait in line and you can publish stuff and say, hey, I can publish it. I can do a show, which before you'd have to get with a radio station or a television station.
Right.
Now with the internet thing, it's like it's amazing. It really is. It's just a matter of the ideas of what somebody would put in and um and what type of discipline and dedication that they have to it. And that means a lot. That really does mean a lot. I've noticed that. It's like to me, doing radio before, like how Drew had his show in 2011 or something like that, and he might come back to YouTube. I'm not sure. I think he's going to start something maybe. And he I had went on his show, but I had a YouTube channel I think before him, and I forgot, maybe he saw the YouTube channel or somehow I got to a guy's blog talk radio and I got on the show, and that's where he heard me, And he goes, you're always welcome to come over on my show too. So I remembered the name of his show, and I went on there, maybe twice or something like that, and we stayed in touch. And then I think we lost touch. Like, we didn't talk for a while because he was doing stuff, and we didn't lose touch, but we still had each other info. And I think I contacted him like 10 or 12 years later. And we got back in touch a little bit. And then we got back in touch a couple years after that, until just recently, like maybe a year, like within the last 2 years, I would say. Yeah. So it's been a while since we known each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. On the internet, there's not too many people that I remember from the MySpace. There's a few people I do know from back then, though, that's still on the internet. But the Facebook, I still know some. But mostly like YouTube. My first YouTube, I have met a lot of people, but that was before Google. But this, with the streaming capabilities, it makes it a lot easier, because I can have up to 10 people. I can show, art and display certain charts and videos and stuff like that, have backgrounds. So it enables a lot more at an ease. Like, people can do this with OBS, but I don't know how to do OBS. Like, they say OBS is, you have to use it with, I think, a different program, with either Streamlabs or Zoom, and StreamYard is just easier.
I don't know anything about that either.
Yeah, it's easier. I mean, there's a way, I think, to do it with YouTube too, to just straight do it with YouTube. But I think it's I'm not sure if you can have two people on the screen at the same time. I'm just like, there's there's a lot more that you need to know. Really, StreamYard just makes it kind of easy, I guess, because it's just easier for me.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I want to stick with the easy things. I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, even though, I do need to learn a little bit more here and there, and but why can't it be peaceful? Yeah, man. Yeah, it just but some of the some of the Matrix, the Agent Smith, the code, the artwork is just off the handle. The more I look at these things, and the more I'm just like, man, I'm like, people, it really, they're just like, so you think you know what reality is, right?
Exactly.
It's like, you think you really know.
I mean, for us, the three-dimensional is real. But what if, most likely it's not? We just only see a small portion of this reality, which is made up of other dimensions all
Yeah.
around us that we can't see, because we're like that shadow that can't see the 3D. That's
Mhm.
basically what we are.
Yeah.
We think we know it all. We think we got all the answers, but we
Mhm.
don't. And these beings, just like in the Matrix movie, who are in that higher dimension, are laughing at us.
Yeah.
They probably look down on us like, oh, look at these idiots, but we got to deal with them,
Yeah.
If your phone ain't ringing while you are struggling, do not pick it up when you are successful.
Divine Hazel. Yeah. She's like, yeah, if they need to be there when you're struggling, and then they can be there when you're successful. Exactly. It's like they have to, you just, it's like you treat people away. They help you, they're there. That's the story, the little red hen. Asked people to help her bake the bread. And then when she baked it, they wanted to get a piece, but they didn't want to help when she was baking it.
Mm.
The little red hen, or the little hen that could, or something like that. I think it's the little red hen. And
Right.
and yeah, so it's like you think of, I remember that story when I was a kid. It's sort of like saying, hey, when somebody needs help, help them, because when they finish the result and you want a part of it, it's like, if you didn't help, how do you expect it? You know, and also don't be lazy, be willing to help. And yeah, I mean, stories like that, like you look at some stories that teach moral and stuff like that, and then you look at some of the stuff, like, I don't even, from what I heard, some of the stuff is just crazy. You're not getting the little red hen anymore. It's more like a modern day Disney, uh who knows, metaphysics, quantum physics. Looking into these topics lets you know we didn't see everything for sure. Exactly, man. Exactly. That is so true. That is so true. The metaphysics, man, the quantum, yeah, it clearly opens up, brings more questions, which takes us deeper into reality. That's what reality's about. It's like, imagine if we could just answer everything. It's like, then reality's like, it has to, even then, if we could answer everything, common logic would say, well, there's got to be more, because now it seems to be too obvious that there's something more. So wait a minute, you're telling me we know everything now? And that's what a lot of the so-called pseudoscientific establishment tries to push, especially with the religion of evolution. They try to push the, we know everything. We know how it started, it was a big bang, it was this, and then it went into what we see today.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just, the whole evolution is its own. When I think about that, it's just like, yeah. Yeah, and the whole, this has a lot of things to this. I gotta look up studies for this, man. I gotta look up some studies for this, because this really this has a bearing. Square shaped rooms, they do trap energy, I've heard. And well, nature does make squares in some type of crystal formations. I think it does, like cubes. But I hear what you're saying here. Um, this, there was a doctor. He was a dentist, a surgeon, and he actually he said he designed a room. He wrote a book about mercury fillings and implanting people, with more natural substances. And he said when you're removing it, the gas from it will start to, can, some of it can get in the room. And they designed a room where the corners were smooth because it allowed airflow to move. So what XAI is saying here, you got a good point that yeah, yeah, the square shaped rooms. I wonder what the studies are of how people feel when they sleep in a round room.
Mhm.
And they all know about geomancy. Yeah. Geomancy. Yep. Yeah, it's the sleeping in a round, like, yeah, that, because that harem stuff with the pillows and having the circular might have some, yeah, I could see that having a different energy to sleep on something that's circular. Or even like, if, like how some people, I remember hammocks. Sometimes they're comfortable, but sometimes I guess, you want to sleep on a bed, but there's some people that's all they sleep on is hammocks. But they are tribal, so, but I mean, I don't know. That's not saying nothing less of them. It's just saying they're more possibly adapted. They said that some Native Americans would sleep on like hard wood, and but their posture was very good, like the Spartan type of lifestyle, keeping the body in very good shape, kind of thing. Yeah, the geomancy, that whole room shape thing. Yeah, yeah, that the shape of the room definitely. Yeah, the shape of the room that has something to do. That has some. It's just the shape of everything. Like they say that drinking out of certain shapes, like a square glass and octagonal glass or a hexagonal or a round glass, all of them will change the taste of the liquid slightly that's drunk out of them. And these are type of tests that people, what the crazy thing is, the majority of people don't care. But as a marketer, imagine the benefit in that.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, I've noticed that I think that is what they do when they sell a lot of these products.
I
The
agree.
music, the food.
Because you notice once you get the product, it's like, okay, this is it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Then you come
yeah,
back to reality once you have done the
exactly.
purchase.
Yep, exactly.
They don't
Yeah,
want to trigger fantasy, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah, fantasy. It's just, and they're trying. I mean, they're like, it's like at a point where AI now, I heard that a lot of the artists they don't need for a lot of the Hollywood stuff because of the AI.
Yeah, it's gonna be the new big thing. The actors, because they almost like look pretty much human like. So who's gonna know the difference?
Wow. Yeah, churches are like domes. XAI, yeah, saying with the yeah, in some places, yeah, the circular, I can see the circular having a different effect. I could definitely see Lotus Dome, all of that stuff having big effect on 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 healing. I mean, the shape of a room, and that's something overlooked. The shape of an eating utensil, the eating something with chopsticks, which I haven't done in a very, very long time. I think from what I remember, tasted pretty good as opposed to eating with a fork. Yeah.
The chopsticks, I know the Chinese, I think they would take each individual rice and eat it one piece at a time. Isn't that correct? Something like that.
Hmm.
They would do it super fast. Super fast.
Yeah, some of those yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, think about those days. It's like now technology has moved into an area. I think it, of course, it's a double-edged sword. So there's some good stuff, very good stuff, I would say, that comes with this technology.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely there. Yeah, very good forward movement. But now, when I think about, okay, we're at a point where there's, I mean, the AI movies are what is bubbling under the surface that people can't really, like, maybe they're not focusing on it as much, but it's there. It's there. Even though what has come out is like mediocre with things just made with AI. News reports look very real.
Yes.
But yeah. So AI, like that's it's gonna pop out and be ready, just like other stuff has done on the internet. And I think they're coming out. I don't know, did they come out already with the GTA 6 or something?
Haven't heard. I haven't heard. That's the new NVIDIA chip. Is that what that is?
I think it's GTA 6 coming out. Let me see, November. Okay, so it's November this year. They're saying that thing, people been waiting like over a decade for this game. I think
Oh, okay. I'm all
they
confused.
might have put, I don't know how much, if I remember, I think how much they put into it to get it done. I think it was a lot of money. GTA 6 budget, I think. Yeah. 1 billion and 2 billion. People are so cracked out on this video game, GTA, like Grand Theft Auto 5, I guess it was, is the one that's here now. And now this thing is going to be this thing. I think when this thing comes on, this is something like if there's a chance to invest or something, or for somebody that says, you know what is going, I could put a bet on the fact that when that thing goes live, we're going to see a dip in people in the internet because they're going to be so just drugged out on playing GTA 6 constantly. Like that's all they're going to do. So people that would normally be watching, say, a Facebook or YouTube video or Instagram, you're going to see a drop in all of that because all these people that are waiting for that GTA 6, which seems to be an extremely big thing to the gamers. I mean, very big. I mean, anybody can look it up. 1 to 2 billion. 1 to 2 billion. Holy smokes. AI NPCs that's crazy. See, this is going to have people so addicted. Yeah, they ain't gonna. Wow. That's crazy, man. Yes. Getting late here. 3:18 a.m. in New York City. Mr. X
Same here in Florida. Yeah, no. Thanks for having me on, though.
Yeah, man. We'll talk. I think I'm gonna stream tonight. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start releasing a video on Friday instead, but I'll see what happens. But yeah, so tonight, yeah, Sunday night. But yeah, well, everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Appreciate all the support. Mr. X, everybody that came on. I'll see you guys tonight. Take care. Have a good one.
Have a good night, everyone. Thanks, Lindy. Appreciate it.